40% off select mattresses. And don't forget, you could be one of 275 winners with over $155,000 in prizes to be won. Hurry in. The birthday bash ends July 29th at the Brick, saving you more.
Loaded in by Martinez. Spain makes first contact.
Forward thinking. Stanley product brands and legendary service. Don't get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project. Plug into your partner in power. Get an ewel.ca account today.
Think of traveling golf cards out of your budget.
The CanTorque wins.
Fully inspected pre-owned cards starting at just $4,500. Choose some gifts. Electric or lithium-ion power to fit your lifestyle. And the best part, every used card comes with a 1-year warranty for total peace of mind. Wait, get the card you always wanted today. Visit the Golf Card People. Find out more at golfcardpeople.com.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day, but you need to make time for this.
We got your 40-year-old. One-man rush.
PSA blood test.
The losing start continues for the Ottawa Redblacks.
The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus all. T's and C's apply.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Here we go. One-man rush. End zone. That is it. Sweet revenge for Drew Brown. And the losing start continues for the Ottawa Redblacks.
On Sports 1440.
Williams. Lost.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Loaded in by Martinez. Spain made first contact. Steroid flies away. Spain are the champions. Spain have seized their second star.
Well, a magnificent Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, as well as YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Thanks, as always, for listening. Thanks for watching the show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where they probably had some fun at the World Cup. Now you have fun baseball. Kicking off, of course, into the high gear right now. CFL, another electrifying weekend in the CFL. We'll get to all of that and more. And you can check it out, some daily specials for the Jason Gregor Show at playalberta.ca, your one-stop shop for live dealer, lottery, instance, casino, and more. Crazy weekend in sports, the World Cup. comes to the conclusion. And I know some people didn't want to see a third place game. I loved it. 10 goals. You don't see that very often. It's an entertaining game. It wasn't a perfectly played defensive game. That's fine. They don't all have to be. It was a hell of a game. And then you get to the final and defense won. Spain controlled the game. They didn't give up a shot on goal the entire game to Argentina, who came in the highest scoring team in the tournament. You have to tip your hat and give Spain full marks. They were clearly the best team in the tournament. Full marks. I don't see how you could find any debate or discussion otherwise to suggest there was a better team. There just simply was not a better team in the tournament. So kudos to Spain and their victory. And now we move on. The World Cup 2030, they're already talking like it's going to be a 30, no, not a 30, but an expansion to 24 teams, or sorry, to 64 teams, and should be entertaining. Canada with the rankings now is ranked 14th in the world, and hey, they finished in the top 16. I get, are we a 14th nation? Who knows? Hey, they were in the tournament, so I guess if we go off of that, that's where they rank. Now, the rankings mean nothing going into your next match, but it does help in some other seedings and other things moving forward, and it shows that that's a pretty good showing for Canada. But it's also a reminder of how difficult it's going to be in 2030. Look at teams. Heck, some teams can't even make the World Cup. Never mind get to the round of 16. So it'll be difficult. If they go to 64, we're going to have 16 pools of, or groups, I should say, of 4 teams. Everybody plays 3 games, and then the top 2 in each pool are going to move on. And that's going to be difficult because, goals for and everything else are going to matter. There's not going to be a little bit of a luck there if you want to get to the elimination round, but being a third place team, not that not a lot of many of the third place teams had much success anyway. So I think when you look at some of the countries that weren't in this year, and then you look at who will be in, and then you even look at like Cape Verde and others who thought they were going to be competitive. A lot of people thought that this would just be complete domination and there'd be lots of blowout games, and there really wasn't. It was a very entertaining tournament from start to finish. My last thought on it is, for all the Americans who are just saying how terrible it is that you have a 3rd and 4th place game, I'm assuming you're all going to be talking about what a waste of time it is to have all these bowl games, right? Am I right? Shocking hypocrisy tells me the same people that were complaining about that will be telling you about the Potato Bowl and how it should be must-watch TV. I find it somewhat funny. On the show today, Andy Petrillo will join us. We'll recap the World Cup and kind of look forward to the next big events. Daryl Evans will be by as we continue to do our off-season in the National Hockey League. The LA Kings made a lot of moves, and mainly it ended up with the Kings being much older. Are they better? Because, man, they definitely got older when you look at the additions of guys on their team. Eric Halla. They brought back Scott Lawton. Corey Perry at the age of 41. Matt Zuccarello at the age of 38. Those are some of the guys they brought in. You look at their back end. Brant Clark's the young guy. Mickey Anderson's 27. But then every other D-man on their team is 33 or older. So, goaltending, they got Forsberg and Kemper. Decent, but the Kings, are they good enough to push for a wild card spot? I don't see them doing anything that would close the gap on Edmonton or Vegas. And I know Anaheim, all the talk about contracts or everything for Leo Carlson, their blue line, I question a little bit. But, Gudas wasn't a main guy. It's really losing Trouba at the end of it. And, they got Nick Jensen. I don't think he's as good as Jacob Trouba, so it's a little bit of a downgrade. They also lost, Zellweger and other guys. So the Ducks defense, to me, is going to be the question, but they're going to be able to score. They got really good young offensive guys. Leo Carlson, Cutter Gauthier, Beckett Seneca. I like the Ducks offensively. I like their goaltending. I don't love their defense. The Ducks also won't have Troy Terry for for how many months. So, we'll see how that potentially impacts them. So we'll talk a little Kings with Darryl Evans. Steve Gardner will join us. Of course, we're into the second half of the season. Hey, break up the Red Sox, baby. 13 wins in a row. Their streak started on July 3rd. They have had themselves a hell of a month to not only get back in the race, but now suddenly they're looking to say, how high can we climb in our division? They're up to third in the division. Now they're still, 4.5 games back of the Yankees, but at the rate they're going, man, what happens on August 20th? Can they close the gap more? We'll see. But the Red Sox are awesome. Meanwhile, the Toronto Blue Jays, they continue to win 1, lose 2, and that is kind of what they've been at here lately. They just can't score. Their offense looks anemic at best, so we'll touch on that. Farhan Lalji will be by. We'll talk some CFL. Great weekend on the field. Obviously tragic off of the field. We'll get to that. Mark Spector will be by. We're hoping to hear from Mark Killam coming up at 5:20 today. Still looking to book that. It is the Elks today, of course. They will practice a little bit later on, and for a good reason, because Monday Morning Magic has been just a fantastic part of the community. It's a great way to kind of kick off K-Days, and for those players to go and interact with lots of family and kids who otherwise would never get to go on the rides. It is something that to me is awesome. So they were down at Monday Morning Magic today from 7:30 to 10:30. Maybe you or your family were part of it. If you were, let us know. Send us a text to kind of tell us your experience. I've been there in the past, and I can tell you it's a wonderful, wonderful thing that they've done. I remember for a short period they didn't take part, and that was a bad decision. But that was very short-lived. And I can tell you the families get a lot out of it. The kids love it. But I'm telling you, the players get a significant good karma, I think. And just, meeting the families and meeting the kids, it's a great reminder you can make a difference in someone's life just by showing up. Right? Showing up to be there, ride with the kids. You get to have a lot of fun. You get to be a kid again yourself. It doesn't matter what your age is. You always kind of like that inner child to come out every now and then. And I believe that is that's just a fantastic event. So hopefully we'll have Coach Killam after practice. Today we got Cam Tate, the 2-minute warning. We'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. The Elks game Friday night, they the score, I think, was closer than the game was. Now, a few things went right. Number one, the Elks on the second play from scrimmage knocked Nathan Rourke out of the game. On a sack. Clean hit, hard hit. Took him out of the game. And you know what? When you got to go to your backup, that is an advantage. No question about it. Taking out Nathan Rourke, who's arguably the best quarterback in the league, that made BC, I think, less vulnerable. Rourke didn't even complete a pass in the game, right? Because he was out that quickly. They had a run, and then they had a sack. Chase Bryce was 20 of 34, 4 interceptions, right? Like the Elks create 5 turnovers. They're up to 21 takeaways so far this season. Fantastic for them. Absolutely fantastic. James Butler, who ran all over them, only had 7 carries. And he rushed the ball 4 times. Now, Justin Rankin also only had 7 carries. And we can get into that. I see a lot of people saying, oh, you know what? They stopped the Elks run. Well, they did, but the Elks also didn't really try to get the run game going. They basically just said, we tried it a few times. It's not working, so let's go away from it. And now part of that's maybe the offensive line. I think you got to give the D-line of BC a lot of credit, but we can discuss the game plan of the Elks offensively. I think you can't be that one-dimensional where in 2 games, Cody Fajardo's pass attempts 88 against BC. 88. 42 a game. And Rankin has carried the ball 7 times per game. You can't be 6 times more passing the ball than running. You just can't. So I would like to think that they would need to make a little bit more of a concerted effort to run the ball. Javon Leake ran it once. So it was a grand total of 8 handoffs to your running back. It's not good enough. But they won. And they won on the strength of their defense. And their defense is really, really good. And they'll have another tough test this Thursday. I love the fact we don't have to wait much longer. Thursday in Saskatchewan, the battle of the top 2 teams in the Western Conference. We also saw this past weekend in the CFL, the first overtime that went to kind of like the shootout in CFL now, which is a 2-point conference. And man, Ottawa drops to 0-6. They blew a huge lead, 26-9 in the fourth quarter, and ended up losing that game 36-34. They got outscored 17-0 in the fourth quarter. Awful. It's 26-9 going into the fourth. You got to put that game away. Some bad decisions, I thought, on 3rd and short. That again, you can't just keep running the same play. And Ottawa, that's a sign of a team like learning how to win. Connor Halley, I think, is a big thing. Edmonton has known how to win. They put games away when they got a lead. They haven't blown leads yet this season. The only loss they had is when they trailed basically from start to finish against BC. When they have the lead, they hold on. Now, it's not pretty. At least this one wasn't. I think that the 19-17 wasn't reflected of how the game was. It was reflective of the Elks' inability to put the ball into the end zone when they get in the red zone.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something they still need to learn to do. But that's something that the Edmonton Elks, the last 2-3 years, Gregor, we've seen it. Like, when are they going to take that leap? They've been in games close. And, I mean, it felt like it was just a trend at all the watch parties I'd be at. We just wait for that fourth quarter to come and the Elks to find a way to lose the game. This year they've been in those same situations, but they're winning the games. They've learned how to do it. It takes time, obviously, and keeping the same core and we're learning from the past mistakes is one way to do it. Ottawa still hasn't got there yet, though. No, they haven't, and I don't know if they will. They'll find a way to win one game. So we'll see where it goes. And there you go. When you look at the weekend, though, for the Elks, it was good. You win, and at this age, hey, you don't give the 2 points back, and they are now 8 points up on the BC Lions. Now, BC does have a game in hand, but at best, they're 6 points up. They're 6 points up on Calgary. They're 6 points up on BC. That's a huge thing early on, because for the first time in a long time, you can actually look at playoffs as a realistic thing for the Edmonton Elks. Been a long time coming for them. And not just a playoff spot, Connor Halley, maybe a home playoff date. Now, they're only 2 points up on Winnipeg, right? They're only 2 points up in Saskatchewan, and the Riders have a game in hand. So it's far from over by any stretch. But you know what? They've beaten Winnipeg once already. And now they obviously, against BC, now they probably don't have to worry about a tie, but BC would actually own the tiebreaker because they're 1-1, but they won by more points. But Edmonton's in a pretty good spot here, 1/3 of the way through the season. And I know it's kind of a cliche thing to say, but if you would have asked them at the start of the year if they were 5-1, would you take it? Everybody would take it. So if you break it into thirds, that's a great first third. Now, the next third of the season will get, I think, a little bit tougher because it starts with 2 games against Saskatchewan. Then you have Montreal. Very good game. So basically, the next 3 games are against the other 2 top teams. Then you have Toronto, who's high. Then you have Winnipeg, and then you have a bye. And then their last game would be against Calgary, which of course is on Labor Day. So in the second third of the season, you're playing, I think much better opponents than what you had in the first third. And now it'll be just how do they see the Elks are getting on the field here soon? The O'Donnell injury, Connor, is the other big factor here for Edmonton. That's your entire interior of your offensive line. Woodmansey went out, Beard's out, now O'Donnell. That's pretty big hole to try to fill. Like you get down to your 7th and 8th offensive lineman, the gap is just significant. It is. And if O'Donnell's out, I won't be surprised if the Elks run 4 Americans on the O-line. Yeah, you have to do something. I mean, especially in the interior, right? Like those runs get blown up quickly. How many times do you see when Rankin gets that ball 3 yards in the backfield and he's got someone right on him? It's going to be super tough. I will, though, give credit to the Edmonton Elks because you go back and you look at the schedule, Gregor. They're playing teams coming off the bye week here, rested teams, and on occasion they're going short week. The Rough Riders were on a bye week, and
I'm sure we're going to get into the unfortunate event with them, and they'll be playing with a heavy heart. But yeah, the depth gets tested. I think it's just more praise to what Ed Hervey has done, and then what the coaching staff has done, having their guys ready to go. But yeah, you might have to do some tinkering, I think, because you got to get the run game going. The interior is going to be key to that one, and especially against a really good Rough Riders team in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, there's that accident on the Highway 11. Jaden Dahlke, who of course played his high school ball in Leduc, then played for the Wildcats and the U of A, was a 6th round pick and became not only a player but a team captain for the Riders. Tragically, he passes away in the accident, as does 22-year-old Bhishma Rajaguru, who kind of the innocent bystander here, as Dahlke was driving down the wrong side of the road on the highway, reports are. And, they crashed head-on collision, and both men perished at the accident site. And Rajaguru was just driving home from work on a Saturday evening. And it's the reminder, we talk about it all the time. Don't drink and drive. Don't be inebriated and drive. It's good people make bad decisions when you do that. Don't do it. This is obviously worst case scenario. Some people, you get impaired and hey, your life still goes on and you can survive from it. It's tough, but nothing like this. And now you have 2 families and friendship groups that are completely destroyed by bad decisions. So always try to think for that. It will be an emotional game for sure for his teammates. And, we'll see how the Elks can respond to probably what will be. Now it's going to go 2 ways. It's going to be really emotional, and maybe it's too emotional, or it's just a really motivating factor. We'll see how it is. We'll take a quick break. Daryl Evans joins us next. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Albertans love to debate the best way to enjoy summer sports.
No. Playing on the field is the best, man.
No way. Watching from the sidelines, way more relaxing.
You're both crazy. Checking out the game from the Bro Zone is where it's at.
But there's one thing every sports fan agrees on.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Wherever you catch the action, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos.
For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it. The Bricks 55th Birthday Bash continues with big savings store-wide. Save on furniture, mattresses, appliances, and electronics. Plus, take 55 months to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses, or 36 months on appliances and electronics on approved credit. Find up to 30% off bedroom packages, up to 40% off select mattresses, and don't forget, you could be one of 275 winners with over $155,000 in prizes to be won. Hurry in, the birthday bash ends July 29th at the Brick, saving you more.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Yeah, it's me again.
And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero-gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back, leadingedgephysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Wow. Get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
You've got better things to do than wait for an oil change. Jiffy Lube gets you in and out fast. No appointment necessary. All you have to do is roll into a location near you, and we'll take care of the rest. Every full synthetic oil change at Jiffy Lube is warranty approved and comes with a 20-point visual inspection, making sure you get back on the road safely. Find your neighborhood Jiffy Lube today. Visit jiffylubeservice.ca.
It's finally time to escape your four walls and see where your four wheels can take you. Sherwood Honda helps you head out on the road the way you want to, with the right vehicle, including freedom-seeking SUVs that give you the versatility to drive where, when, and how you want to. It sure would do some good to get out and stretch your horizons, and sure would be easier with Sherwood Honda.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Nation Golf Tournament, Friday, August 28th, 2026 at Millwoods Golf Course. Golf, drink, swag, food, and fun. Every swing supports Gregor's grads and helps graduates shine on graduation day. Sign up at nationgear.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.224, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger on a Monday afternoon. Oh, wet again. I haven't even looked. I don't even want to look, but hopefully the rain will taper off. It's been a really wet July, as you all know, and you know what, you try to stay positive as much as you can, but it is it's a tough one for sure. Tough one. So there we go. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text. We got some good texts about Monday Morning Magic. We'll get to that momentarily. But first, we're going to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, where you can stop in at McD's right now, and you can get the $5 McValue meals. The sausage and muffin small meal, the McDouble small meal for only $5 plus tax at McDonald's. And the NHL offseason, man, it is we're under 2 months away from the start of training camp, 58 days to be exact, when the Oilers and other NHL teams report to camp on the 15th of September. And then they're on the ice for a few days. We got preseason games going on the 19th through until the 26th of September. Remember, everybody only gets to play 4 games in the preseason this year. And then the regular season for the first time in the NHL will begin in September, as the 29th, in fact, is when the Edmonton Oilers will kick off their season. And we go around the NHL. We're going to stop at another Pacific Division opponent. They did not meet in the playoffs for the first time in 5 years this last year, the LA Kings.
and the Oilers, and we'll see what the Kings. They definitely made some offseason moves this year. The biggest one, of course, who we had in studio a week and a half ago, Anze Kopitar retires. So there's the captaincy question, there's the first line center question, and more. And to break it all down, Daryl Evans, a longtime analyst for the LA Kings, joins us. Daryl, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Great. How's the summer been treating you?
Well, it's pretty wet up here, buddy. Not gonna lie, but it's I guess it could always be worse.
That is true.
The smoke and the fires. That's definitely. I'll take the rain, although some people don't like the flooding. So it's one of those things. Not great overall, but it's been an interesting offseason for the Kings. We had Anze Kopitar in studio, and obviously that's just a monumental loss as a human being more than anything else, and then as a player. But I think it's safe to say that the Kings have been kind of waiting and hoping that Quinton Byfield could be the guy to step up. And, with Anze there, you never really had to. But now, at the age of 23, with lots of experience, this will be the opportunity for Quinton Byfield. Daryl, who do you see as his wingers to start the season in LA, if you had to guess?
Well, I think, you nailed it when you say with Kopitar leaving, it's definitely a new chapter in the Kings book. Without Kopitar being the captain, without being here for the last 20 years where he's led the team pretty much in every category, a lot of players have to step up. When you look at the teams that won the Cups, there's only one guy remaining, that being Drew Doughty, and he's on the last year of his contract. So an opportunity. I think the timing of bringing in a new coach was really good. I thought DJ Smith did a great job last year getting the team into the playoffs. But I think with the changes that are going around, I think bringing in a new coach is a good time for it. And it's a time for a guy like Byfield, who, may have been in the shadows of Kopitar over the last few years. Hopefully he's been learning, and now with the opportunity that he's going to get, he's going to be the first go-to guy, the first option for, Peter Laviolette. He'll look down the bench and he's going to see Byfield. He's going to be the go-to guy. Power play, he'll get on that number one unit. So this is a chance for him to really take his game to a level that the Kings have hoped that he'd be able to get to for a number of years. But again, never too late. He's 23 years of age, got a lot of years, a lot of hockey ahead of him, and it's going to be a big challenge, a big task for him. As when you look to options on the wings, the Kings, I think, have themselves really set up nicely when it comes to wingers. They acquired Panarin last year at the latter part of the year. Of course, they lost Fiala, so you get Fiala back. It's almost like having a new player. He and Panarin will get a chance to play for the first time. Kempe, a world-class forward. We see Laferriere take his game to another level. And then you add guys like Zuccarello. He comes in. Eric Howlett comes in. Lawton, who joined the team last year as well. So I think the Kings have some pretty good options. I think Laviolette, he'll take a look at some things. Would not be surprised to see, on opening day for training camp that, Byfield plays with, let's say, Kempe and maybe Panarin. And, then you put Zuccarello and Fiala together and play them with Howler or something. So there's a few things I'm sure that coaching staff are looking at, and they'll try to put together the best, in-depth lineup that they can, starting with that top line led by Byfield.
Panarin, they never really got to see Panarin and Fiala together, of course, because Fiala got injured right away. And, those two, they're legit top six scorers. And then you throw in Adrian Kempe, Trevor Moore, you got four, I guess even Laferriere, regardless of who's going to play with him, he'll have some opportunities. But what about the second line center spot? Who do you think that's going to be?
Well, there's been a number of things talked about already here in Los Angeles, even talk about putting guys like Kempe in that position, putting Laferriere there, Eric Howlett, of course. I think that, with Lawton coming back, I think that pushes Lawton to the, to the 3C spot. So I think in those names there, I think Howlett will probably get the first nod to be able to get into that position with some chemistry there. But I think the wingers will be the strength of this hockey club to start the season. I think they're really gonna kind of have to carry a little bit of the weight and let the centermen kind of cut their teeth and and establish themselves. And even though Byfield's been in the league enough, playing in that number one position, lining up night after night against the McDavids, the Draisaitl's, the McKinnons, the Celebrinis, the Matthews, all these guys night in and night out. That's going to be a challenge for him. But I think he's at the stage of his career now. He's had a taste of it, through different parts of the season, that he's ready to do that. So now he's got to prove it not only to himself, to the organization, and prove to the league that he's a legit number one center and he can carry that workload on night in and night out.
You mentioned Drew Doughty. There's talk, hey, we're not going to look at a contract extension right now. What do you make of that?
I don't make anything of it. I think with a new coaching staff coming in, I think he wants to take a look at things. And, for Drew's standpoint too, I think, Drew would like to get a really good understanding as to where he's at in his career. I know he's always had the dream of, playing forever. And I know when he had the injury a couple of years ago, he talked about the rehabilitation, allowing himself to get in phenomenal shape and come back and play at an elite level, getting back to play for the Four Nations and things like that. He wants to play. And I think he comes into camp auditioning not only for, to get the attention of the coaching staff. Of course, Laviolette and everybody in the league knows what Drew Doughty's capable of doing, how many minutes he can eat up. But there's a little bit of a passing of the torch, in LA. They're looking for young Brant Clark to step up. They extend a contract to him. Looking for him to take over that quarterback position on the power play. So I think Drew comes in with a mindset that he's going to compete and look for not only for minutes on the ice. Of course, he's going to get the minutes he's going to get, but I think he'll try to push for as many as he possibly can. He'll still want to get on that number one power play, from time to time. Drew's always a guy that, having had the opportunity already to win, he's, won it on the world stage. He's won a Stanley Cup, and he's got a hunger for it. He's got a desire to want to do it again. And he wants to prove to a lot of people that he can still do it. So I think he comes to camp. He's going to be a little bit humbled and looking to prove himself. And hopefully things will go well for he and the organization to get off to a good start. And they engage in those conversations sooner than later to put both sides at rest.
Okay. They went out and, they had a lot of veteran guys. They got older, right? Now Matt Zuccarello is 38, but he's still highly productive. Corey Perry, age 41, pretty productive player. But in a league that's getting younger, the Kings got older. Daryl, what do you make of that?
Yeah, they got a little bit older. I think the Kings, the way they approach things, I like the fact that they didn't go out and spend money in a way that they would regret or overcommit to guys in both length of contracts and the money committed. I think what it does, it puts the Kings in a very good position, a flexible position. They're competitive in today's game. Being they've got to find a way to have success in the postseason. Of course, they add some more postseason experience with guys like Zuccarello, coming in. He can add to that. Eric Howell, of course. So hopefully those guys will be able to add to it. Corey Perry, he's already, been in the environment here. He's well settled. He's done a great job at settling in here last year. He knows what to expect from the team. And they know how to use him and get the best out of him. But with this being said, the environment for the young players to really step up now is good. They've got the veterans all around them in every position. So there's no excuses there. These guys are going to be given that opportunity, as we see with a guy like Byfield who's going to get thrown into that number one position. LaFerriere might get an elevated role this year. So those guys have to continue to keep growing. They've got to take on a little bit more than they have in the past, but the opportunity is going to be there. And also what it does is it puts the Kings in a position that if some of these big name players, and and we've talked about number one center, number two center, to be able to support Byfield in that role. If one of these guys come available, whether it be via trade or through free agency or however it may come about, the Kings have got themselves in a position. So I think their flexibility is really good. I think Ken Holland's done a great job at putting things together to keep the Kings competing today, and to also put them in a really good spot moving forward.
The Kings, you look at it, what about kind of like a plan long term? Do you see any young guys potentially pushing to make the roster this year, or do you think they're pretty going to be a veteran-laden squad?
Well, I think when you go to training camp, it's changed quite a bit over the years. I think there was a lot more opportunities with teams years ago. I think pretty much every organization is pretty much set on paper. This is what they're looking at, how they're going to start the season, especially this year with only 4 preseason games. So young players aren't going to get a big runway to be able to audition. You're not going to go out there and play 8 or 9 games and everybody's going to say, well, he just keeps getting better and better. You're going to have to be good right off the bat. That's not to say that none of these guys can come in. I don't think every position is 100% secure, But from the young players, I think when you look at the Kings, what they have in the organization, they drafted really well this year. I think they added some good depth to their organization, some good potential. There was a change in the type of player that they added, a little bit more offense, a little bit more skating, ability in that regard. So I think they kind of set a little bit of a precedent in doing that. They got a couple of great assets in goal that, whether they turn out to be the goaltenders, and again, you can't keep them all. I think one of those goaltenders eventually becomes a forward, centerman, or a defenseman that the Kings will look in their lineup. So I think they do have a little bit of flexibility. Yes, they are a little on the older side, but with age comes experience, and especially with the core of the team being together for a number of years, I think that'll help the Kings get off to a good start. And we all know that if you get off to a good start, you can maybe make the rest of the season a little bit easier. So that's, I think, what the Kings' mindset is. You bring in a veteran coach who knows how to win. He's got veteran players to do it with, familiar with some of them, that he's going to be able to put it all together and get this team off the way they want to kick off the season.
Daryl, always good to catch up. You get a rundown on the Kings. Enjoy your summer, and we will talk to you, man. The season's right around the corner here, less than 2 months away already. So,
all right, stay healthy and well. Enjoy the rest of your summer, and we'll look forward to catching up soon.
You betcha. There is Daryl Evans, longtime analyst for the LA Kings. And, big changes. You lose Anze Kopitar. That's obviously a massive change. Not Quentin Byfield. He's been waiting. He's shown glimpses at times that he can be the guy. And I'll tell you right now, like, if you look at LA's top wingers, Panarin, Kempe, Fiala, like, just as three wingers, would any team, like, which team would have better three top wingers? Like, the Oilers don't. Anaheim doesn't. Vegas, no. Florida, maybe. But, like, Adrian Kempe is a consistent scorer. Panarin's like top 5. Right? Well, definitely top 6, I think, point producer last many years. Think about a team whose top 3 wingers can be that productive. Honestly, I think it's a good question. Might be discussion. Then you throw in Trevor Moore, maybe. Or is it Matt Zuccarello? Like, who fills in? Now, the problem is, like, Byfield's yet to be a number 1 center. Maybe he will be this year now that he kind of is forced to have to take on the role. We'll see. Second line center, that's obviously a big hole. No question. But the strength of the Kings is their wings. I don't think there's much debate there. Their wings, good. So we'll see. Now, before I take a break, I want to read this one. We were talking about it's Monday morning magic. Hey, Gregor, as the father of an amazing 6-year-old boy named Caleb who has cerebral palsy, today was our first time ever going to Monday Morning Magic. And I have to say, it's such a great thing that they do to let everyone have a chance to experience a part of the Edmonton culture. Taking our little guys to K-Days for the first time was a fantastic experience. Rain be damned. Seeing a smile on his face during the rides and checking out the Edmonton Fire Department's fire trucks was a great memory for our entire family. He could never wait in normal lines or handle the chaos of a normal K-Days crowd, so we're beyond thankful to have gotten the opportunity to take him down there today. Might have started off in the wrong foot as Punter, the mascot, scared him, but it was all smiles and laughter after that. Makes me proud of the city of Edmonton, the volunteers, and the sports teams involved. There were many Elks players riding rides with kids, having as much fun as everyone else, and that's from a grateful father, T. Well, Father T, man, great. Thanks for the note. I really appreciate it. And that's exactly what it's about, right? Like, you think about the opportunity for kids that could never go there, and you get to go on these rides. And it's, you know what, like, there's lots of days where they kind of have a disadvantage. And so to have a special day just for them, I think it's awesome. And having been down there, and I'll talk to the players who are there, I can tell you, like, it is a very upbeat, uplifting time. Even with the rain, you don't care, right? Because trust me, those kids and families, like, they're not like a little bit of rain, whatever. They want to go on the rides and have a blast. And I think that's awesome stuff. So thanks for the note, T. Very much appreciated. Let's get to a quick break. And when we return, Andy Petrillo will join us to recap all things World Cup and talk about what is next for both the men and the women's soccer program here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, The Brute Squad, Morningwood, Roxilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the ones and twos, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at CanTorque.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
2:45. Welcome back. Monday afternoon. Of course, MLB continues on today. We have a CFL week starting on Thursday. Edmonton is in Saskatchewan. A huge first place matchup. Yes, the Elks are in first place in the West. 2 points back them with Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan, of course, just fresh off a bye. They have a game in hand, and we will see what is in store on Thursday in Saskatchewan. Should be a lot of fun. Also, the World Cup wrapped up yesterday. Spain put in an exclamation point, I think, on their tournament. They were the most dominant team. They didn't give up anything. Literally, Belgium scored 1 goal in the 41st minute. That's it. It's the only goal they gave up the entire tournament, for goodness sakes. 8 games, and you give up 1 goal. That's pretty impressive. As we get to our soccer report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer. LegacyHeating.ca. As Andy Petrillo from One Soccer joins us to wrap things up. And Andy, we've had people text in, so I want to know if you know the answer. They're just curious. So Canada gets $15 million for finishing 9th to 16th. Do the players get a share of that? Is it all to the federation? What happens with that money?
Well, they have, I mean, that's been the whole talk the last few years. They have come up with a new CBA. So yes, there is a percentage that goes to the players, which now the men and women have also agreed to split. So prize money that the men get, they will split with the women and vice versa. When the women get their prize money, they split that with the men. Okay. And then the rest of it. And so the percentage, I don't really know off the top of my head. I want to say and don't hold me to this, but anywhere between 70 to 80% goes to the federation.
Yeah, I thought so.
Because they're the ones who are in charge of literally all of soccer in the country. Yeah. So it's not just, they don't just spend that money on the national, like the senior levels, right? They spend it across the board. So that's why a majority of it goes to the federation.
Okay. So, you look at Canada, they end up 14th in the tournament by the rankings. So, a good result in the tournament itself. And, I think the takeaway that most people who watched the tournament for Canada was, in the next World Cup, if we could finish better, we'd have a better chance, right? And which is the hardest thing to do. Like, the ability to have that finishing touch. I thought at times, when I saw some of the other nations, like Canada didn't really score from distance, right? Like don't really have a distance shooting threat very often. And obviously that's hard to do. So, and then corners, that's probably the other one. My goodness, we might have been the worst corner team in the whole tournament. It was brutal. So how do you think they can improve in those 2 areas specifically for the next time around?
Yeah, I mean, and let's put it this way too. They're never going to have as easy a path that they also had this time around as co-hosts, right? The pot that they were in, the path that they were on. But you're right. Not only do they not really have the threats from distance, but did they properly, this was the big talk going into the tournament. And then also when the tournament started and what became pretty evident, is Jesse Marsh using Jonathan David properly as like a proper striker? Because the beef that a lot of us were having who cover the national team on a regular basis, when we were watching their friendlies and all these tune-ups into the World Cup, it was really evident that Jesse Marsh was playing him a little bit more defensively. And that's great. Like we love to talk about, that star player, we know he can score, but guess what? He's really good defensively. I don't care. Like in that sport of soccer, I don't care if David is getting back and breaking up plays. That's why he's got great midfielders there. That's why he's got his back line there. I want him up front. I mean, Lionel Messi, as we know, what did he walk? 50% of the tournament? He never got back and played defense. I'm not trying to say David's Messi, but what I'm saying is that when you have a star striker or anyone who can just really score, let them do that. And let the other guys take care of that other stuff. Because, some people, defensively, he's great. He's this. I don't care. Right? Like he scored a hat trick against Qatar, who also went down to 9. I'm not trying to diminish that, but those are the facts and that's reality. So I don't know if that's the player or if that's the coach just not putting him in the proper position. But now we have 4 years here. And I'll say this, okay, so how do they get better? You have to experiment. And that's something Jesse Marsh has shown a reluctance to do. So that's what I think everyone is going to challenge him now. The next 4 years, why not try Tajon Buchanan in that position that you have David in so David can move up forward? What about Promise David now, right? Like, what about some of these other guys? This is what we're really going to look for in the next 4 years, because I don't think Kyle Laren's back, right? I think it's probably safe. I just don't know if I'd put him as a lock for 2030. Right. So if we're looking at guys who can score the next 4 years, Jesse Marsh has to do some experimenting, not just with his personnel, but with his formation and his tactics.
Yeah, and near the end of the tournament, injuries were a significant factor. Obviously, Alphonso Davies played 50 minutes in the tournament. Kone injury, that's obviously a big blow. Torres, and like Canada had some key guys injured, but none of the guys that are injured are now maybe they get the ball up the field, but Canada's ball possession was actually pretty good in the tournament. It was just their finishing. So I don't know if having those other guys, like what did it like? Obviously, when Davies came in 50 minutes, you noticed right away like his touch on the ball was significant. And if there was a way that we could guarantee that he was healthy in 4 years, that might be the biggest improvement for the team.
100%. But like possession, it's so funny. It's like any sport when it comes to stats. You have to watch the game, right? Because possession only tells half the story. You can have the ball, but if you're not doing anything with it, like who really cares? It's no different than like in hockey. Like, oh, they had 30 shots. Well, were they all from like periphery? Like, who cares? Goalie's going to see that all day long. Like, there's certain stats where you're like, okay, I understand it, but I have to see it in context. So that's the thing. Like, to your point, Canadians, like, sure, they had the possession, but what did they really do with it? What was the service like? The service wasn't really good. When they got it into the final third, what was the finishing like? Okay, so it wasn't really good. So that's great. Like, I'm happy you can kick the ball around and hold on to it and switch sides. But the other team's just looking at you going, thank you for killing off the time. And then once we get the ball off you and you know, we're on the counter attack, which again, that's exactly what Switzerland and even Morocco did. They figure Canada out in the first half because again, there's the reluctance to change tactics in the second half. So like, this is exactly what they're going to do in the second half, which is why Switzerland and Morocco scored literally within like the first minute of the second half, because they figured out what Canada was doing. Right. So yeah, possession, it only means so much.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah. You gotta finish overall. But you know, I thought Canada played well. Obviously, the two games, like Morocco's first half might have been their best first half of the tournament. They came away with nothing. Like they, you know what? That's the one there. And 12, whose name I always butcher, so I'm not even gonna say. Like, if he buries that chance, if he raised the ball, who knows what happens in the game?
I'm a tiny Oluwaseyi.
Yeah, Oluwaseyi. And so that's the one where I was like, oh, you know, there's your chance. And like the top teams, no surprise, they're finishers when they get a chance. They finish. And really that's kind of the difference. But you look at Spain, Andy, and you gave up one goal. And like, I watched the game. Argentina didn't even have a shot on goal. Like, how does that happen that you can be the most offensive-minded team the entire tournament, but not even get a shot on goal in the final?
Jason, they didn't get their first registered shot until the 113th minute. Statistically, never mind shots on target, they had 0 shots until the 113th minute, and it was a block shot. I said, I'm like, if Argentina goes on to win this in pens without having a single shot, I'm going to vomit. Like, that would have been such a disgrace if the world champion didn't take a freaking shot and then they went on and win it in pens. I was like, this cannot be reality. And then, of course, it wasn't. And Spain did what they needed to do. But you kind of got that sense a little bit. Like, so in all of their knockout games, they didn't lead once. So Argentina was kind of like something was happening there where they were on the back foot and then they would find this magic where you have to give it, you know, you have to give their coach a ton of credit where his substitutions as the game went on made a difference, which is why they had these extra time, you know, come from behind wins. So a lot of that was Scaloni and what he was able to do as a manager. And then you really got a sense that Argentina had no desire to play when it was the semifinal, even against England. Like, they were hacking and whacking and chopping away, which is why so many people are angry with England's manager, Thomas Tuchel, because they're like, Argentina was there for the taking. You got the goal, but what you needed to do is you still needed to be creative and go after and attack them because they're so bad. But instead, they ended up going completely defensive, sitting back, pushing back, pushing back. Scaloni goes, makes his changes, right? And it ended up being a duel of managers, and Argentina won that duel against England. But again, it just gave you a sense of like, I don't think the Argentines really care to play here. And then they start off against Spain, who's very defensive minded. I even told my husband, who likes to place some bets, he's like, hey, do you think I should put both teams to score? I said, no, absolutely not. Don't do it. It's not going to happen. And it didn't, obviously, until extra time. But yeah, Argentina, you look at them and they just they had no desire. It was almost like they'd rather just foul and slow it down and trip it up. And then, of course, when they ended up losing, absolutely embarrassing by them. Paredes said what he was doing on the pitch afterwards, trying to start fights with the Spaniards. They should just be embarrassed with their behavior afterwards because they didn't come out to play. And it was very, very shameful.
Now, there was a red card afterwards. So does that mean that the next, does that carry over to the World Cup or just the next game for Argentina?
Yeah, that would probably carry over to the next FIFA sanctioned window so they could just, we'll carry over. And you know what? Sometimes FIFA just decides to make up rules as they go along, as we also discovered during this tournament. But yeah, that's how that would work, is usually another FIFA sanctioned window. You can serve your time, so to say, then.
Yeah, that was the other thing I want to ask. Now, hey, there's been lots of talk. People have argued that FIFA is rather corrupt, and a lot of people haven't hidden their opinion behind that. And I'm not sure that this World Cup did anything to change that. And there's lots of talk already, Andy, that in 2030 it's going to be 64 teams. It's basically celebrating the 100 years of Uruguay winning the first time around. And I watched this year, and a lot of people came in thinking, more teams, it's going to be blowouts. Well, a lot of the bottom feeder teams, like Cap Verde, became a huge storyline, right? And there was there was a few blowouts, yes, but there was also some really competitive games by the bottom teams. And then you look at Italy, and I was going over the list. I think there's 8 countries where you could say, well, if they were in the tournament, they would be a legit team in the tournament. So do you think adding it to 64 is really going to be that awful overall? Is there going to be even more disparity?
And this is just something full disclosure, I haven't sat down and really looked at it, obviously, but they want to become more like the Olympics is what it's sounding like. The only difference, though, is that the Olympics has many, many sports. So you can really compartmentalize certain sports, and you can keep them in a certain area, and you can start them and finish them in a decent amount of time. So if you're doing 64 teams, what is the rest in between? What is the travel? Even this tournament between 3 countries, there was insane travel. Don't even get me started on the carbon footprint here. And it was oh my God, just planes in the air just being taken up by FIFA World Cup. But so these athletes need to also rest in between games. So between rest, this, travel days, I don't consider travel days rest. Because, you got to get up, you got to pack your stuff. There's the stress of anything. I don't even care if you're traveling private. There's just still having to get up and be in the air. So what are we talking about here? A 2-month tournament now? 2.5, that's what I'm more concerned about, is how do you get this tournament done in a timely fashion? Because even some people like myself, I'll put my hand up, and I love this sport and I love the World Cup. It went 1 week too long for me. The final should have been played last weekend, not this weekend. So now if you're adding more teams, that's just more of my concern, where it's okay, I get that you're having all these multi-countries, but you have to be smarter now with your groups, and they have to play in one spot and not be flying around, buzzing around like buzzards the entire time, because that just doesn't help any player, I don't think. And also that's hard for fans. You want to go watch your country, but then you also are hopping around. What's going on here? So I just think logistically, there's a lot that probably needs to be worked out here for FIFA if they want to go to 64.
Yeah, well, they can't have 3 matches a day is basically what it is. You're gonna have to have more than that.
And I wonder again if they go the Olympic. So the IOC has essentially their own OBS, which is their own broadcasting network, which is why a lot of so networks, for example, as you know, CBC, we're also the Olympic rights holders, and the main events, we will have our own commentators. Yes. But oftentimes European handball or rhythmic gymnastics, we're going to use what's called the world feed. And those are provided by OBS. So if you're also going to have all these games and everything, that's my other question, is FIFA going to create kind of its own side broadcasting hustle, where even though you're the rights holder as the network, there's only so many people you can have on certain games. Do you have to now supply a world feed? So that also gets interesting for me, right?
Okay. Yeah. Curious. What's kind of next then? You look at both the men and the women's side. What's kind of the next big event on the soccer stage for Canadian fans?
So the real big one is for the women, and that'll be coming up November, December. That is their qualifier for the Olympics and next year's World Cup. So that'll be a real big one, because the winner will automatically go in, and then if they don't win it, they still have a chance by going into a playoff. But that's going to be the big one for the women. They want to be at the World Cup. The World Cup is typically where they struggle. Olympics is where they shine. So the further you go, and that's the thing too, like, not to be crass, but like, when you qualify for these things, and if you can make it out of your group and go far, that's how you continue to make your federation money. 100%. And if you can continue to make your federation money, which I'm not going to hold this against the women because they've been doing it for the last decade or so. It's great to see the men now on board doing this. But when you have like a healthy and wealthy federation, then we can stop with this nonsense of we're not getting paid and we're not making that's usually what happens. The federation doesn't have money. Canada Soccer has not had money for a very long time, because even though the women have gone far, the prize money for the women's tournaments is just nowhere near what the men's are. Now it's starting to get better, but at the end of the day, Canada Soccer doesn't have a ton of money. So now when you start to have both of your senior teams doing well, and provided we have the right people in place at Canada Soccer to spend that money correctly, then you will have a very healthy ecosystem. So the big one, is for the women to be able to, qualify for that. And then at the youth level, like starting in 6 days, the Canadian men U20, they start their CONCACAF championship. Jesse Marsh is actually part of that coaching staff.
Yeah,
because that also acts as a qualifier for the LA 28 Olympics. Others as well, but LA 28, which is a U23 tournament. And because there are some people who still believe that if you have success at the youth level, that's what translates right into the senior level. And the Canadian men haven't qualified for an Olympics since 1986. So does that matter? Does that not matter? I mean, Jesse Marsh seems to think it's also pretty important to get the U20s playing in pretty big competitions and tournaments, which is why he and his assistant Mauro Biello are going to be part of that coaching staff. And that tournament kicks off in a week.
And are there any young strikers on the men's side that could potentially move into that spot in 2030?
Well, I think this is what's going to make this U20 really fun to watch. Like, if people actually want to go on their own little scouting mission, this will be it, right? So July 26th, they start things off against, I believe it's Panama. And there's 4 players from the Canadian Premier League CPL, a number of players from Toronto FC's academy. Like, this is where, you get to watch and see who's in the pipeline, right? Because it was at these U20 tournaments where Tajon Buchanan became a household name, right? Derek Cornelius, like a lot of these guys represented Canada U20 and tried so desperately to get them qualified for the Olympics. Right. But that's when they became household names. So yeah, I mean, is there a striker? Well, we're going to find out by watching this tournament to see if anyone stands out.
All right. Andy, great stuff as always. Enjoy some time off, hopefully.
Yeah, Commonwealth Games are coming up, Jason. I got that in a few days. Then I'll get time off.
All right. Okay. Well, enjoy that. Always going to catch up to you.
See ya.
There you go. That's Andy Petrillo from One Soccer and CBC. And busy lady. Busy. Let's get to Connor Halley. He's always busy with a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. The past decade, Go Auto and Connor McDavid have proudly supported your communities together. That is goauto.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440,
a Stingray radio station.
broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Say hello to Alberta's home for reeling and dealing. With Play Alberta, you can spin into the excitement of popular slots like Cash Eruption and Desert Fantasy. Experience Alberta exclusive games and get in on the action of live dealer tables with all new elevated stakes. However you prefer to play, the fun is ready when you are. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Everything is going to be okay. If you're feeling the weight of too much debt, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Favor. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal will eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we've got your back.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink.
How are you? And welcome
for just $1 each plus
Jason Gregor
all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud ice toppings. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber,
Afternoon.
even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Need equipment on the job fast? Japa Equipment Rentals in Atchison has you covered. Excavators, wheel loaders, compaction equipment, and more, backed by expert service. Visit japamachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show on Edmonton's go-to station for all things sports is Sports 1440, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only all-in-one play experience. Casinos, sports, and lottery. One account, one wallet, one app. Here's Jason Gregor.
It's after 3:00. Welcome back. Oh my God, this should be breaking news because in the world of life, this is a game changer. We'll get to that in a second. Oh my goodness. Crazy. Love it. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where all of the revenue stays right here in the province of PlayAlberta.ca. So there you go. Blue Jays in action. Dylan Cease on the mound. That might be the only saving grace they have. Can they win 1-0? It's almost like, can we win 1-0 or 2-1? Sadly, with the lack of offense from the Jays bats, that's kind of where you where it feels that they're at right now. So that is less than ideal. Steve Gardner will join us and we'll talk because lots of other now pitchers are pitching great now for sure. The hitting seems to be down. So why is that? Is it simply because of velocity of the pitchers, the accuracy of the pitchers? What is it? Is it the more accurate strike zone now? You can challenge some calls. How much of that is a factor? Although I would think that there would probably be equal amount of misses as there were, balls and strikes, everything. So we'll see. But how about this? Now, this just came down, Connor Halley, and I'm talking, this is wild. A college student just created a tool that works for debates, press conferences, town halls, interviews. The fact check shows up on your screen while they're talking. Basically, in-time fact checking. So no more lies. Now, the key to this would be you'd need a moderator who would have a button. That's a lie. Can't say it. Do you have do you want to tell the truth? Because did you know in Wales they put in a law that politicians can't lie? Right? That would end all of this. Because we have gone down crazy street for just accepting lies. Because it doesn't matter which side you're on. Some people are like, yeah, but I voted left. Okay, I'm going to let him lie. I voted right. I'm going to let him lie. No. This would be amazing. It would also be great sometimes in sports press conferences when the guy's like, oh, they're a great team. And you'd have the chat. No, they're not. They're one of the worst teams in the NHL. That would be my favorite. That would be my favorite one because there's nothing more. They're a great team. They got a lot of great players. And you'd be like, no, they're not a great team. They're sitting in 28th place. Because I remember, do you know how many times, Connor, in the decade of darkness, I had they got some great players. They're a great team at this. And you're just like, what? What are you talking about? I'm sorry. That's a lie. Now, it's different than lying about, like truthful things when you're trying to attack someone. Here's where they're trying not to insult the opposition. So it's somewhat different. But could you imagine if you had this model and you're watching a video and it's going on and right down the side, that's not true. They're not a great team. I would just find it fun. It would be amazing. So I wonder how long this will be, to get in place. Because this is something you should have on every debate. And then you need a moderator to just moderate and be like, that's not allowed. Would you like to reword that, sir? Because that's not true. Oh, it would be great. Because it would stop it. It would be great. And there you go. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We got lots of other texts coming in. Hey, Gregs, do you think the Oilers are going to make a trade between now and American Thanksgiving for a top 6 forward? So what's that? Late November. There's not a ton of trades. Usually early in the season. So I'd say no. Now, there's a chance because there's always a chance, but I would put it at pretty low probability. And here's why. The Edmonton Oilers have the opportunity here to, you still got McDavid, you still have Draisaitl, you still have Hyman. The Oilers had 6 20-goal scorers last year. That's the first time they've had 6 20-goal scorers since 1992. Right? Offense has never been an issue in Edmonton. So I don't think they have to, when your whole message has been, We got to reduce the goals against. We got to be better defensively. We got to be more consistent defensively. I don't think you have to run out and try to get a top 6 forward. I'm not sure how many teams are going to be trading that guy right away. Right? Early on, I just don't see it. So that would be number one. And number two, you don't have to rush out right away. See how the season unfolds. There's going to be teams who on September 29th think they're a playoff team. On October 30th, they might think they're a playoff team. All of a sudden, reality kicks in on December 31st, and now they're not a playoff team. And maybe they've got a player now. They'll panic. There's going to be some internal pressure. Oh, gee, maybe we got to get rid of this guy. And lots of things change. So I would say pretty low % chance between now and American Thanksgiving that they do it. Hey, Gregor, what happens with Jack Campbell now that he announces retirement? How does that impact the Oilers salary cap? Well, it has no impact at all. So Jack Campbell's contract was a buyout by the Edmonton Oilers, right? He had, 3 years left on his deal. They buy him out, so you'd have to pay him out over 6 years. And he is owed $2.6 million this year. So it counts for a $2.6 million cap hit this season. Then it drops down to $1.5 million over the next 3 seasons. So it does not change their cap. Because he retired, that contract is a contract that was already based. Well, it's not null and void, but he got bought out of the contract, so that money's owed. His retirement now is because he doesn't have a contract. Very few guys retire when they have a contract remaining because that contract is guaranteed. And if you retire, it's not guaranteed. So in Jack Campbell's case, he's moving on. His career's over, but the buyout is kind of separate. It's almost like a previous transaction that's closed. He just still has to pay it out over that time. So, hey, boys, does he get paid out every 2 weeks? My understanding is yes. You don't just, it's not like a salary bonus when you're paid out. He gets that money basically he gets his first check starting in October. I think the first check comes out usually at like the 15th and the 30th, give or take. And that's when he's going to get paid. So that's how it works. So there's the Jack Campbell has no impact whatsoever as far as the salary cap of the Edmonton Oilers. Hey, Greg's, you mentioned the Elks have 21 takeaways. Do you happen to know what their record is for most all time? I do, actually. We're thinking alike. I actually asked the CFL stat guru extraordinaire that he was leaving, and Steve Daniels told me. Now, this is a record that's probably never going to be touched because just the game's changed now, and there's not as many turnovers, but the Elks takeaways, the most they ever had was 87 back in 1995. They also had 84 in 1989. And those two, the 87 and the 84, those are second and third all-time in CFL history. Third most in the Elks was 74 in 1970, 1990, 73 in 1993, and 72 in 1981. Currently, they have 21, which puts them on pace for 63, which is really good. It's a lot of takeaways. But, it's rare to see, 3 or 4 a game. Like the Elks, the last few games have been crushing it on takeaways. And that's what makes their defense so dangerous. But no, they would need... in their 12 remaining games, even to just get to top 5, they would need 51 in their next 12 games. So an average of over 4 per game just to get top 5. That's not going to happen. Quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk about some number changes, good or bad. We'll find out next. Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquacentral reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
What's 426 divided by 12? Okay, if I carry the one, yeah, we're out.
Go Auto has a free credit calculator that does the math for you. See what you could qualify for, estimate your payments, and get a better idea of what's in your budget. Because shopping for a vehicle is exciting, but crunching numbers, yeah, not so much. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all sevens.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, the Brute Squad, Morningwood, Roxilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the ones and twos, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Just Brab and 118th.
Mr. Rooter has deja vu. Mr. Rooter has deja vu.
The bathroom is right over there, Mr. Rooter.
Thank you, good sir. Wait, I swear I've plunged this toilet before. It was clogged with a snow globe. Am I living in a time loop? Oh, good. It's just a voodoo doll that looks exactly like me. Whew, what a relief.
For a plumbing experience you'll want to relive, call Mr. Rooter.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of CanTorque. CanTorque has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
The Riverhawks' final regular season homestand is on deck this week. Catch the bobblehead giveaway, a 2K dance party, Margaritaville, and Wizards, Wands, and Magic Night. Don't miss the party. Tickets at gohawks.ca.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
'27 rolling through Monday afternoon. Gregor, Hallie, Declan Kruger with you. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Always brought to you by playalberta.ca, where remember, if you do gamble, please use your game sense. Go to GameSenseAB.ca. Learn more how to stay within your limits at playalberta.ca. And time now to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Spruce Grove Saints. As the opening night is on the 18th, and the Saints hockey schools run from the 24th to the 28th for U9, U11, U13, and U16. So check it out. Register today at sgsaints.ca. And there's lots going on in the NHL, in MLB, as we get to our next guest, Steve Gardner from USA Today, to talk about the second half. I know it's longer than the second half, but after the All-Star break, it's kind of the unofficial second half of the season. And Steve, let's start with the hottest team in baseball, the Boston Red Sox, winners of 13 in a row. They have been absolutely on fire since July 3rd. They moved into a wild card spot. They moved within 4.5 of the Yankees. Explain how the Red Sox have been able to completely do a 180 on their season.
I wish there was a simple explanation for it, Jason. I really do. I think it's one of those things, the ebb and flow of a baseball season. You get hot streaks, but certainly not one this hot. And I think, part of it, Wilson Contreras has been outstanding for them on the hitting side, but Sonny Gray has been incredibly good for them on the pitching side. But otherwise, you can't really pin it on any one thing in particular. This is just a team that has found a way to get things done. And you look at the lineup, it's not really any different than it was earlier in the season when they were struggling. You make a change in the dugout and all of a sudden maybe things get a little bit fresh. I wish I could tell you, what's going on with the Red Sox and how they've gotten back from a team that we thought was going to be a big seller at the deadline to one that's now in playoff position, as you mentioned, and could possibly be a buyer now.
Oh God, yeah, I definitely think they could be a significant buyer. Why not? They're absolutely rolling, and they, you look at like the Yankees have some weaknesses. So does Tampa Bay. There's no like real dominant team in the AL. The NL we could probably argue obviously with the Dodgers and even the Milwaukee Brewers because they're pitching that maybe they are. But the AL doesn't really have like, oh my God, Tampa Bay looks insurmountable, or even the Yankees do at this point.
No, and Tampa Bay's lost 5 in a row. They get swept by the Red Sox. I mean, it looks more like, a free-for-all now. The Yankees, I think, are probably, even though they're a game and a half back right now of the Rays, look like the best team, especially if Aaron Judge comes back and just solidifies that offense. But still, yeah, it is anybody's race in the American League. And there is no Dodger counterpart, certainly, in the AL.
Yeah. So you look at it seemed like the Toronto Blue Jays, and with every, like, I know everybody keeps waiting. There's, the Jays, they can turn it around. And I'm like, why? Like, it's not like they got one guy not hitting. They got like 6 guys who can't hit. And, now they got Savage and a few other starters that are struggling. They've never really had 5 starters all year due to injuries. Like, to me, it would be like a monumental shift for the Jays to get back in this. So then I look and say, well, maybe they're going to trade some guys. And like Kevin Gausman would have a lot of interest, I would think, because teams are always looking like he's probably a number 3 on a really good team in the playoffs. But, that's still something that there'd be a lot of interest in, I think, if they actually wanted to trade him.
Yeah, it just seems so hard after getting so close to winning a World Series last year to blow up the team, the following year. It just seems, kind of hard to believe that they would think of doing that. But yet you look at where they are in the standings, the number of teams that they have to jump over, and how really, disappointing the whole season has been. From a run differential standpoint, Jays are one of the worst in the American League. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think it would take a lot of conviction that this team that the Jays have is fundamentally flawed. And I don't know that that anybody in the front office there is willing to admit that and blow the team up. So Kevin Gossman, I think, is, all of the big names are going to stick around. I just don't see anybody moving.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Well, I think like some of their guys, the big names, like George Springer doesn't really have much trade value at this point. And, neither do some of these other guys. Like maybe you get like a late pick if they really want to do somebody a favor. But I look at Toronto and they have to be maybe the biggest disappointment in baseball this year.
Yeah, I would say Toronto in the American League and probably the New York Mets in the National League. And, the Mets, on the other hand, would be a team that does need to blow things up, and they're prepared to do that. So, if you think it's bad being a Blue Jays fan and being let down this season, I guess it could be worse. You could be a Mets fan.
Yeah. Speaking of the Mets, like there was some talk about Bo Bichette, opting out. You don't think that's going to happen, is it? Like he's making a lot of money.
Yeah, I from what I understand, the Mets have their list of about 5 guys that are untouchable, and everybody else they can talk about. And Bo Bichette is not on that keeper list. So I'm sure they would listen to anybody that was, mildly interested in acquiring him, but the money is so huge that it's hard to see, any teams really getting excited about Bo Bichette, even though, he's a fine player, but I don't know that he's a difference maker that you have to, sell your farm system or take on a huge contract like that to get.
No, yeah, unless they're willing to just give him away. I'm not sure he has as much value at this point. Now, if he gets back to being the hitter he was before, that's a little bit of a different story for sure. Hitting is down in MLB this year. And, it had kind of been on the upswing for a bit, but what do you make of it, Steve? And why are the pitchers, is it simply because, they're just throwing that much harder now than ever?
I think in general, yes, it's so much harder to be a hitter, but there's been some discussion about the baseballs once again. And I know it seems like you get tired of hearing, what kind of baseball do we have? Do we have one that flies further? Do we have one that has more drag on it? Apparently, I think The Athletic has done some research into this, and some other people as well, about the batch of baseballs that we've had over the summer months having less drag or more drag on them, so they're not flying as far. And you take the exit velocities, and I don't want to get into too much physics, but the players are hitting the ball squaring up at about the same rates and hitting them with the same sort of velocities. The ball's just not flying as far. And I think that's one of the things that we can't account for as we're trying to do as much analysis of the players. And, we've got so much that we can measure with StatCast. The ball is one thing that is just a big variable that we have no idea about. And I think because of the time frame and how the balls have, kind of universally had this, this component, it seems like we're dealing with a batch of balls now that don't fly as far. So you couple that with the fact that you've got pitchers like Jacob Mizorowski throwing 104 miles per hour, and all the crazy things, these bewitching things that pitchers are doing with spin and everything else, and it's going to take a big toll on offense. And I think we're seeing some of that going on right now.
So, any idea why? Like, now, I don't know the science that goes into making the ball. But once we make one, like, why would it change? Like, why would there suddenly be more drag? What would go into that?
I think it's partly just the raw materials, and what I understand happens is at the factories, the Rawlings factories or something, they get a big, huge shipment of materials and they make a big batch of baseballs and they run that through the production, and it just depends on the type of leather and stitching. And Major League Baseball, the one thing is they have, certain standards, and all the balls have to fall between the tolerances of, A and B. And there's enough room in there that when you get at these high velocities that their pitchers are throwing and the balls are getting hit at, that just a little bit of a difference there can make 4 or 5 feet, a noticeable difference in how far the ball flies. And so that to me is pretty fascinating, but it's so hard to get, those measurements and everything like that to understand all of it.
Okay. It just seems like a wild part of it. Now, you mentioned Mazeroski and what he's doing, and you look at Milwaukee, and obviously he's their ace, and they're at the top of their division. They're one win behind the Dodgers. How good do you think the Brewers are after him?
Well, I'll tell you what, the Brewers keep fooling me every single year. They had a better record than the Dodgers did last year in the regular season. They didn't go certainly as far as the Dodgers. They ran into a buzzsaw in the playoffs, but I think this Brewers team is very solid. The one thing is you don't really know what that starting pitching staff is going to be. They've had a lot of injuries. I think Logan Henderson is a very good, almost number 2 caliber starter, but he's been hurt. He's been down in the minors. We really haven't had a chance to see him at his best. Losing Brandon Woodruff is huge for them. And the fact that he's not coming back doesn't look like the rest of this season. They need to get Kyle Harrison back. He was very good at the start of the season. So you've got, some potential upgrades that they can still make as those guys get healthy outside of Woodruff. And then the offense has just been solid all season long. This is a very good team, a very fundamentally sound team, very good defensively. And, they're the kind that you don't want to have to match up against in the postseason.
Oh, God, no. Yeah, 100%. Is there a team that you look at now, Steve, that you feel, okay, they're not in the playoffs right now, but, they're like Seattle, Baltimore, the Twins, maybe the Marlins or the Pirates. Like I look at the Pirates, and maybe just because of Skeens, I'm like, God, I really like to see those guys in. But is there a team that currently today isn't in that you're pretty confident when the season's over will get in?
You mentioned the team, I think, and that's Seattle. I mean, because their pitching is just so good, especially the starting rotation, that you can just see, the Red Sox go on that 13-game win streak. I could almost see Seattle doing something similar. To me, though, they need to add a bat or maybe 2 at the deadline to kind of solidify this. And that seems like we've said that every single year for the last couple, that their pitching has been great. They need some bats. They got Josh Naylor last year, didn't really put him over the top. Maybe another piece of the puzzle this year does do it for Seattle. I just love that pitching staff and feel like that's a team that can pull off a long win streak. And once you do that, you get into the playoffs. Pitching staff like that could carry you too. So I really like them. Pittsburgh is interesting because Jared Jones is coming back. He's been on the injured list for the first part of the season. He's looking like a really strong number 2 kind of starter behind Paul Skeens. And if Skeens really gets it going, he hasn't had a typical, from what we've seen earlier in his career, Paul Skeens season. And the Pirates have been surprisingly good on offense, one of the best offensive teams in Major League Baseball this year. So they're very interesting, but it's still hard to put the Pittsburgh Pirates and playoff contender in the same sentence. I still have not gotten used to that.
Well, it would be nice because it's been a long time since we've seen them in the playoffs, and I think it would be great to see them in the postseason.
Would be fun.
Awesome.
Would be fun.
Well, thanks so much. As always, we appreciate your time, Steve, and enjoy the second half of the season.
Thanks so much, Jason. Appreciate the time.
There you go. That is Steve Gardner, a longtime beat reporter for MLB. Really good rundown on the teams. And that's just wild to me, Connor, that Like, you don't hear about, now maybe it happens in hockey, but it's different. Like, you don't, oh, hey, guess what, guys? Like, the puck isn't sliding as fast, right? Like, I know there's different materials to it, but it just seems like, couldn't you get some consistency that the balls were always the same?
You would think that would be standard operating procedure. Everything's going to be the same. We're not going to have any changes when it comes to the matter that consists of a baseball, because you use so many as close as possible to give everything that kind of common denominator. You think it would make sense, but baseball, they play by their own rules sometimes. Things are always a little bit different. Different measurements of the field, changing all those sorts of things.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is very true. Awesome. All right. Let's take a quick break. We got the 2-minute warning with Cam Tape coming up and more. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Wow. Get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's
guilty as charged,
thinking.
Judge
Killer
Jason.
selection, slamming products from the best brands and
Sports
legendary
1440.
service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Expand your
Guilty.
brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca. Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
It's the hard jobs that take know-how, expertise, and the right experience. And that's why, time and time again, GS Construction gets the call when it comes to the hard jobs. Underground projects that are genuinely difficult, like deep installs, tough ground conditions, or tight urban sites. So remember, when it's a hard job, the list gets short, and GS Construction is on it. Want to tackle the hard jobs? We're looking for experienced pipe layers and topmen. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
For all your welding supplies, think AWS Welding. Located in Nisku, their readily stocked storefront carries a wide variety of welding glasses, cylinder rentals, plus welding rod, wire, and consumables. Same-day delivery is always available. And if they don't have it, AWS Welding will find it for you fast. Visit their online store today at awswelding.ca or give them a call or text at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. They make it happen.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Calling all pizza lovers at Papa John's, you can get a large one-topping pizza for only $14.99 using promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.347. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Hanley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks as always for listening. Thanks for watching the show. Declan Cougar running things over at Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram. Give him a thumbs up on our YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Make his day, make our day. As we're getting the numbers very close to getting to another round one, so we would like to get that. So we will see what happens. And 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning in a second. I got a few other texts to get to. Hey, guys. Looking at the Oilers cap space, realistically, does it matter if you use it all? Carolina just won with lots of cap space. I don't see the need to have to rush and fill it. Well, that's fair, but you could look at it. Carolina did, and that was great. And it's the old adage, Carolina's a team that had basically had won one game in the conference final in the previous how many years? So it's always, I think it would be a mistake to look and say, oh, it worked for them, so let's just copy everything they did. I think you can take pieces of it and look and say, okay, are there some elements of their team that can benefit our team? How they did it. I think that would be smart. But to just look and say, wow, they had 11 million cap space. Clearly, you know what, you can win without it. All depends. It depends who's available. Like, don't waste the cap space just because you have it. That I agree with 1,000%. But don't use the cap space because you feel that by not using it's better. If you think you can get a player that takes up some more cap space but will clearly help your team, then you go out and do it. I don't see any reason why. So every situation's different. They all change from year to year, and then you see and kind of goes from there. So it'll be very good to see kind of where it's moving forward for the Oilers in how they use the cap space. It's something that we really haven't discussed in Edmonton for a long, long time. Flat cap space, right? The flat cap, excuse me. So you didn't really have much cap space for most teams. And I can tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of teams that don't come close to the ceiling moving forward in the NHL. Like, I know the cap is going to jump up. It's 104 this year. It's going to jump up to 113 next season. You might have, like, how many teams will even be at 100, like this year's cap next year? Honestly, we're going to start to see some separation in the NHL. Just look at the difference between the cap ceiling and the floor now. I think it's 24 or 28 mil for this year. I have to look at what it exactly is. But at 29 mil, I think the floor is 75 this year. So automatically you're going to have a separation. Some teams are in a rebuild. They're like, I don't need to spend to that. And that's why some of these teams that they're giving big money to younger players, they can afford it. Because, like, I know everyone's like, I saw people, look, Bedard and Byram are making more than McDavid and Draisaitl. Well, not for this season they aren't. For next year, which is the final year of McDavid's deal. And McDavid, everybody knows, is in win now mode. So he took less. Connor Bedard's getting 15 sheets. Awesome. But he didn't sign a 7-year deal. He didn't sign an 8-year deal. So, good for him. But make no mistake, those young guys are getting paid huge, but they're also not locking into 8-year deals. Because if it doesn't change, they don't improve. Well, they're like, well, now I've made up my huge cake early in my career. I can still make really good money but I don't have to get the max, and I'll have a chance. Like, honestly, the increased cap space will benefit arguably the players coming out of the entry-level contracts who are good more than anyone else, because they'll be like, well, this is all I know. I've been here for 3 years, and I believe in the future. Okay, boom, I'll sign for 5 years. And now I'm getting 75 mil or 80 mil, whatever the number is. And then after that, I'm only 8 years into my career, and if the team's not good, well, then I'll move somewhere else. And I can fit in to a cap and quote, only in quotations, take 12 mil or 13 mil, whatever the number is. They could easily do it. Like, Connor McDavid has more money than he'll ever need. On his next deal, like I saw, it was Spitting Chick. Oh, yeah, he's going to take 23. Yeah, okay. That's the same people that said Cutter Gauthier isn't taking a cent less than 18 million of Carlson. Well, first of all, you can't compare offer sheets in arbitration, so it doesn't work. It's a center to a winger. What are we talking about? He's only like, hey, I get it. That's run by former players, and they want the players to get as much as they can. But you think Connor McDavid's going to go and try to get 23 million? So if Connor McDavid hasn't won a cup in 2 years and his contract's up, you think he's going to want to go get as much as he can? Because that will just lower his chance of winning. It makes no sense from a pure rational thought process. McDavid wants to win. Taking 23 million, not going to do it. Whether it's in Edmonton or anywhere, he's not going to do it because he wants to win. And he knows if he takes up too much, his chance of winning is less. That's just how it goes. So let's get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town, born with cerebral palsy. He's never let him slow him down. He's always wanted to be in radio. Now, through the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
Guilty as charged, Judge Jason. I'm lazy. Oh, yeah, man. See, I always thought, and my dad drilled this into me by the gods of war, if a reporter or some commentary guy ever builds a whole piece off a Facebook post, that's lazy. That's a reporter's cut and paste. CP, don't you know? Lazy. Lazy, lazy. Picking up what I'm lying down? But then I saw this. Ryan O'Hashi's Facebook post on his dad. And I'm going to paraphrase it because it deserves to be heard twice. 55 years. 55 years this man held Edmonton Elks season tickets. 89 years old now. And this year, he wasn't going to renew. Not because his heart wasn't in it, because his legs weren't. That walk from the parking lot to his seats at Commonwealth got too long. He figured he'd aged out of the game he loved. He wasn't asking for a favor. He wasn't demanding anything. He just wanted somebody in that organization to hear him out. And Elks president Chris Morris did. Personally. Picked up the phone, called an 89-year-old season ticket holder, and just listened. Not once, several conversations. Worked out alternate parking, a shuttle right to the doors on the west side, close to his seats. Then Morris had the whole family out to a game. Surprised the man with cupcakes for his 89th birthday. He's renewed. 56 years now. You tell me that's not a story worth building a segment around. You tell me that's lazy. That's not cut and paste. That's a reminder, in a world that moves as fast and as cold as this one sometimes does, that somebody still picks up the phone. Somebody still listens. Somebody still remembers that a season ticket holder isn't a number. He's a man who's given 55 years of his life to a team, and the least you can do is give him a ride to his seat. So if being lazy means I stop what I'm doing and tell you about Chris Morris and an 89-year-old Elks fan and a box of cupcakes, I'll be lazy. Any day of the week. 2-minute warning. Sports 1440.
Yeah, I saw that story, and you know what? Hey, good. I think a lot of people, what Chris Morris does very well is he communicates. Now, you don't always have to agree, and he's not going to tell you everything you like, but at least if someone takes the time to explain where they're coming from and do it in a respectful fashion, I think that's something that the previous, people in that position didn't understand. They were terrible communicators. And, as Chris Morris has said many times, he's had to put out a lot of fires since taking over as the president of the Edmonton Elks. And I think he's done way more good than bad, right? It's like a GM. Like, we still have texts flying in about, Ken Holland was terrible as the GM of the Oilers. And I'm like, are you guys delusional? What are you watching? Ken Holland took over a team that had made the playoffs once in 13 years. And in his 5 years, they made the playoffs every year. Every year. They went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final and lost 2-1. To suggest that he didn't build a competitive team is beyond foolish. Yeah, they didn't win. So all the decisions leading up to get you to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, because they don't win that game, then they're not good decisions. Like, sure, Jack Campbell, bad decision. I've said it all the time. It's a bad decision. From the day they signed, bad decision. But every GM has bad decisions. The key is, what other moves do you make to say, hey, okay, let's rectify the problem? When you look at Ken Holland's tenure in Edmonton, to suggest it wasn't successful, to me is a little, you want to pick, I don't like this move, you don't like that move. Sure. That doesn't erase the fact that they got to the to conference final one year, got to a Stanley Cup final in Game 7 the other year. Now, if Darnell Nurse and Leon Draisaitl are healthy, which has nothing to do with the GM, do they win that Game 7? We'll never know. We'll never know. So I just think it's kind of weird to suggest that Ken Holland's tenure in Edmonton wasn't good. It was infinitely better than anybody had done prior. Not even close. And the team, as I said, had made the playoffs once in 13 years when he took over. Once in 13 years. So I think he did a pretty good job. Now, let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hire Good. For professional property services you can feel good about, get Hire Good. Site cleanup, debris removal, seasonal maintenance, and more. Check out hiregood.ca. Stable jobs create stable lives.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Okay, statistic former Oilers goaltender Jack Campbell announcing his retirement for 9 NHL seasons. Campbell spent last season out of the league after previous playing with the AHL's Grand Rapids Griffins. Major League Baseball, the Blue Jays in action once again, hosting the Tampa Bay Rays. First pitch, 5:07. We'll join that game in progress immediately following the Jason Gregor show at 6 o'clock. Elsewhere, you got the Twins and the Guardians. Dodgers taking on the Phillies. Pirates up against the Yankees. Braves host the Padres. White Sox and Rangers. Cubbies up against the Tigers. You got the Reds heading to Seattle, and the Angels taking on the Cards. In town, the Riverhawks are in action, hosting Kamloops down at Remax Field. First pitch just after 7 o'clock. In the NFL, the Green Bay Packers locking up defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt on a 3-year contract worth $57 million. He was originally selected with the 20th overall selection back in 2022. And in the WNBA, Toronto Temple hosting the Vegas Aces at 6. Also, Liberty take on the Wings. Valkyries meet the Mystics, and the Lynx heading to Seattle to take on the Storm. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions and be joined by Farhan Lalji from the CFL on TSN. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, the Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Say hello to Alberta's home for reeling and dealing. With Play Alberta, you can spin into the excitement of popular slots like Cash Eruption and Desert Fantasy. Experience Alberta-exclusive games and get in on the action of live dealer tables with all new elevated stakes. However you prefer to play, the fun is ready when you are. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
This is the game
With
changer.
a fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast.
Connor Halley.
Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Wondering what you can afford?
Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure,
no awkward convos,
just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
50-50-50. Right now at Papa John's, you order carry out, you get 50% off the pizza, loaded with the toppings you love. You want pepperoni? You got it. You want the works? Done. Always made with our fresh, never frozen dough. Half the price for the pizza you already love. When you come grab it, just use promo code CO50. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. 50% off regular menu price pizzas. Carry out only. Use promo code CO50. Participating locations, restrictions may apply.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Your co-op grow team are your local experts because we live here too. Our agronomic specialists stay up to date with the latest research and technology to help support your entire farm operation. As your crops fill and mature, we're here to help you assess crop health, manage pre-harvest applications, and make informed decisions for a successful harvest. Co-op, we're all growing together. Here for your farm, here for your family. Talk to your co-op grow team today.
Lux Windows was founded in 1969 with 5 people and a dream. 55 years later, our team of experts cares a whole lot about building and installing the best possible windows and doors. Because Lux is not just an Alberta-made product. We're one big Alberta-made family. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio, from weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on. Monday afternoon, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Of course, you can get in the Jason Gregor Show Odds Boost special. We got a little early one for the Elks. Also a cease and desist for Dylan Cease. And the Connor Halley pick, the positive one. The Jays. Just some, limited runs, but maybe a few hits. Dare to dream. Dare to dream on that one. I think it's a little bit of fun one, small amount, and if the Jays can ever hit, then it might come true. So, dare to dream is what I say. Now, it's 4:06. It's time to get to our roundtable, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where their rates never change. No or time charges. That's about Legacy at legacyheating.ca. And we will start with Connor Halley today.
All right, guys. I just want to go back to Friday night, and I won't be rambling too long on this one. But one of the things I noticed, and it was from both teams, especially for the BC Lions, with how things went against the Elks, previously. I noticed James Butler only got those 7 carries. I thought it was a little bit crazy. But when you look at the Edmonton Elks and what happened for the green and gold, this is twice now the last these two teams have met up. And the Edmonton Elks seemingly kind of going away from Justin Rankin. When I look at that game, I look at just what we were seeing. And I know for a little bit of the game, he was actually minus yards. But in a game that is that close, you're not trailing by a lot. It's not like you have to throw the ball and pick up big chunk plays to try to get back into it. Why do you think they go away from Justin Rankin? Like to me, and we've seen this in previous games, the first game of the season, on 12 carries, he had 40 yards. It was that 13th carry that got him the 61 yards, right? Like, he's always a play away from breaking a big one. We saw it on the end of the game when they needed the big carry, got the 13-yard run. It's one of those things. I'm just curious what you guys might think about this. Is for me, Justin Rankin, I'm penciling him in at minimum like 13 carries. That's what it has to be, just because you keep the defensive line a little bit honest, keep the linebackers honest, you keep the play action pass as an option, but you keep giving the ball to one of the best players on your team. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts on that one about the team for the second straight game against the BC Lions, kind of going away from Justin Rankin.
Well, I said it before. 7 carries. Like when you say, oh, you stopped the run, no, you didn't. You stopped them from trying to run, which I guess is the same thing, but it's different. So to me, yes, I think it's concerning that twice against BC, you didn't have success early, and then you just and the thing was they were leading this game. So in the other game, when you're trailing, I kind of can understand it. But you're leading this game, and there wasn't a lot of different types of formations, pitches, anything. Like, get him outside the tackle, spread formation, pitch him out there. He's your most dangerous player. You're right, Connor. He can go from 0 to 25 yards with 1 missed tackle. We see it all the time. And so, yes, I've said it all along. To me, the Elks should have in their head, and I don't really care how you get to that number, but Justin Rankin needs 20 touches a game. He's that dynamic. He needs 20 touches a game. So he had a grand total of 7 rushes, and then he had 6 targets, and he caught them all. He was 6 for 6 for 46 yards, but he had 13 touches. And you were winning the game. Like, I'm sorry. That is, I don't love this, putting Javon Leake doesn't have the make guys miss capability as much as Justin Rankin. He just doesn't. So I would get closer to that number of 20 every game.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to disagree with you guys in the sense that he needs to touch the ball 20 times. There needs to be more consistency with the rushing attack. Like we've preached it on Elks Nation. I think it needs to be there. But I'll give BC a little bit more credit too. You look at what he's done in every game this season against the team not named BC, and then the two BC games. And I think Benavides schemes him very well. I think that front 7 is really tough on him. Like some teams, some matchups just kind of have your number. I don't want to say that's the case here, but it certainly seems like it a little bit. And the thing, he had 2 carries for -4 yards, I think, after the first quarter. There was a point in the game, I think he was at -6 rushing yards. I'm with you. I want to stick with the running game, especially this week in Saskatchewan, but I understand getting away from it because it's not like it was necessarily given up on. Like, it wasn't working. And it was a very, very small sample size, but it was also a very negative sample size. So that's kind of where I come out on it.
Yeah, but so you give up on it, even though history tells you that if you keep pounding it, eventually he'll break one. I think that's what Connor's trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot of running backs say, right, the more I run the ball, the better I feel, the more I get into it, pick up the timing with my linemen, things like that. You try to wear down the opposing team. That's a big thing with the run game. I mean, Brandon Staley, we don't love him. I don't love him. Mm-hmm. But he had a really good talk about the running game. Well, and even if it's not working, and you're beneficial playing in a league when you have another down, right? A 2-down league changes things a little bit. But I just think it opens things up, tries to wear things down, and just, the point being, I'm just looking at Justin Rankin's runs here. 61 yards, 47, 33, 31. History tells us, maybe not against the BC Lions because they give up on it, but eventually he's going to bust one.
Yeah, but he also might not bust one. Could we accept that as a realistic that's possible as well?
And
then
yeah.
Listen, I don't disagree. I'm just saying I give BC a little bit more credit, especially what they do schematically against Justin Rankin, because they really have been the only team that can match him on that front.
On the flip side, shout out to the Elks defense too.
Best defense in the CFL.
Much better against the pass and the run.
Yeah, seven carries for 4 yards for James. So it wasn't.
This argument can go both
What wasn't
ways.
A banner day for either running back.
well, neither team really ran the ball, right? Which is, I was surprised BC gave up on it that quickly, considering how good they'd been before. And they only ran them 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And their starting quarterback was out.
It's crazy.
Like, that's the other thing. I thought it was bad play calling by both teams, to be honest.
What do you got, Deck?
Yeah, this is you guys know me, a bit of a college football guy. 7 Saturdays away, so I wanted to bring this one to the table. I have my own take and reasons for this, but I kind of want to throw it to you guys. I think the college football playoff will eventually go to a 24-team format. And, you know, obviously as someone who considers himself a bit of a purist as a sport of the sport, despite being a sub 30-year-old in Canada, I hate it. I see the rationale of why they're going to do it, but I'm curious as to what you guys think about why it may happen and just if you like it or not.
So you're going to say it's going to double from currently what they're doing?
I think it'll probably end up there, yeah.
Well, I think they have to, because all the American guys were saying how dumb a 3-4 game is. So how can you say on one hand that a 3-4 game in the World Cup, by the way, is a waste of time, but all these bowl games are great for your sport? Like, they can't walk it back now. Well, they probably could, but I do find, and I'm being somewhat facetious, I just thought it was the dumbest comment I'd ever heard. But you look at the the current 12 playoff spot, which has a bye for 4 teams, and then the other 8 play, and then you get to 8, and quarterfinal again, semifinal, final. 24 to me, I don't think it's great, because then you're leading to buys at a different time. I could see it to a 16-team playoff, no buys, and that's the way you go. So I could see 16. I just think 24 would basically be like, wow, we want to get more teams involved because our interest in bowl games is lowering. So that it might be just simply out of self-preservation to do it that way. But when you have 24, then you go to 12, then now you got buys. So I don't know if that's a great number. I think 24 would just be twice as many problems as 12. So 16 I could get on board with, and I could see that. I don't know if they go any longer.
I'm with Deck. Like, I don't necessarily like it, because I'm just looking back at the history. Like, we're seeing blowouts. Like, there's just not as many good teams. But that being said, I mean, you can't get in the way of like this progress. Like, they're just going to do it. It's going to make more money for them, more TV deals, more revenue. It's going to happen. Like you though, Deck, I don't love it. Like, I'm just looking through here. Like, geez, we saw Indiana whoop Alabama last year, and you're still going to get those teams that the SEC program history, and then maybe the bias gets them into the postseason, and they shouldn't be there, and then they get whooped, and like, why were they even doing in there? Why let's go back to 4 teams when it's the top 4 teams in the nation, and there's always going to be that, I guess, issue with the cutoff and fringe teams making it in, but I don't think you're going to slow this machine down.
Yeah, because my thing, the reason I think it's going to happen is I think we can all agree that now, in this day and age, that the college football playoff is the measure of success. Like, you have to make the college football playoff for it to be considered a successful season. It used to be a New Year's 6 game, and Low Title still asked me, like, hey, Notre Dame playing in a big bowl game this year? And it's like, those don't exist anymore. The college football playoff is the measure of success in college football now. But what we've seen happen in the past couple of years, these small iterations of it, and this is why I think it will expand to 24, other Power 4 teams need to be essentially incentivized, for lack of a better word, to put $25 or $30 million into a roster every season, when the only benchmark of success is now making the college football playoff. Like, when you look at BYU this past year, they were an 11-2 team. Their only 2 losses. This was a Power 4 school. 11-2. Their only 2 losses were to the number 4 team on the road and the number 4 team in the conference championship game. And they didn't make the college football playoff. So how do you incentivize a Power 4 school in that situation to put $30 million a year into their roster if they're going to be left out consistently? Look at Miami the year before that. They went 10-2 and they got bumped because of the auto bid rule where ASU jumped them. So I just think it's like, obviously the TV revenue plays a huge part, all rights holders, all that. But I think to incentivize the teams correctly, when that's the only benchmark of success, you have to expand the field. And that's why I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, hey, money talks, and college football has never been one. Well, just college in general, and how they go about things. Like, hey, money talks in all sports, and they'll do what's best for money. And if people keep supporting it, even if the games are blowouts, they're not going to matter, because they're going to look and say, oh, it's playoffs, and now we're going to know who's the true best team, right? Like, I do though. Like, teams like Alabama and those other ones probably aren't going to like this, because now you got to win. You don't just get in based on a ranking, right? So that's why I like the playoffs way better. It's usually you still have to beat other teams now. I don't care if you're ranked first or if you're ranked seventh. When you get into the playoffs, you got to win. And that I like better than just being ranked on paper. So I was never a big fan of that. I thought there was obviously a bias every year in the rankings. And, you got in on reputation and other things. And some of those teams are really good. But there's not, like Indiana, to do what they did in such a short period of time, I don't see how that can't be considered a win for college football. It's not just the same programs anymore. That's what's different now. It's not the same programs. You're going to like Indiana they were literally a nothing program 3 years ago. Heck, even 2 years ago, a nothing program. And now they became like the dominant national champ. Now, I do wonder, and Cons, you talked about the lack of parity and the disparity between the good and the bad teams. And you'll always have that at some point in any league, right? Heck, you can have it in minor hockey, for goodness sakes. But I do wonder if they expand the playoff pool, if they shorten or limit the transfer pool at the same time.
They would have to change the schedule. Like they absolutely have to. Like the early negotiation period in the transfer portal, like it opens up while teams are still playing in the playoffs. Like imagine if NHL free agency was happening during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like that is essentially what happens in college football. So they absolutely need to change the calendar. I think they need to probably shorten the season in some capacity as well, but that's a different argument. So I'm all for that.
Cons?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things too. Like, I just don't see how you could look at what happened with the World Cup and how they've expanded. And, by all accounts, I'd say it was a success. The rich got richer and all these other nations got a chance to watch. Like now, maybe for those fringe teams looking at this, like, I don't know, Tulane went on a good run last year, right? They made the playoffs.
They did.
A team
Head
like
coach went to Florida after.
Yeah, and there's the benefit from that. Teams like that, like, okay, well, maybe we can get in. And once we get in, what's going to happen? Like everyone's going to be excited about that. So I just don't see how it doesn't happen.
Hey, can I get one? I know that usually is your guy. Can I just add one point on one of your guys' thoughts quick on a total different topic? Because I think we've hit this one enough. I'm wondering if you think today's announcement on ESPN is the sign that maybe we're trying to eliminate the lame hot take just to get a response. Did you see that they cut ties with Ryan Clark? Now, this is layoffs and people are going to say they're cutting, but I'm not sure there was a guy who would come out with more hot takes that were incredibly false right from the get-go and then act like, oh, no, that's normal. Like, I'm sorry, but, you say you don't want people to lose their jobs. So guess what? People get hired to get fired in sports. And as an analyst, I still think there's a level of aptitude you got to get to. Do you think this is the start of just, hot take for hot take being reduced?
I sure hope so, because you look at a guy like Ryan Clark, like Kendrick Perkins, what he's doing with the NBA, another example. Skip Bayless was the mold for all of this, right?
Yeah.
Like on First Take, Skip Bayless was the guy, but his, maybe not now, but originally it was organic. Like it came, like he really believed what he was saying, and he was a hater, and it was hot takes and all this, but he really believed it, and everyone saw the success he had, and just decided this is the model we now need on sports talk TV, and took that and ran with it, and it led to slop after slop after slop being churned out on these shows day after day after day. So to see a guy like Ryan Clark, who's absolutely leading the charge for that, have ESPN cut ties with him, I think it is wonderful for sports talk discourse.
No, they're just paying Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee more money. I don't think it's going to change anything. I think there's still going to be guys, and that's how they get their clicks. That's how they get their views. Manuel Acho would be another one. They did the same sort of thing. Problem with that is I really liked Ryan Clark when he was doing X's and O's. I think he's a really good football mind, and then probably saw, how do I get more clicks? How do I get onto more shows? Let's give the hot takes. And then it went downhill. So too bad. I liked him as an X's and O's guys, an analyst. Recently didn't like him quite as much. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's just budget cuts, and they'll pay their guys, and it'll continue.
Okay. You're probably right. But dare to dream. Let's take a quick break. We'll return. It's a Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Jason Gregor. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Hurry in for hot summer savings at Wolf GMC Buick. Take advantage of 0% purchase financing for up to 72 months on select new 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 pickups. 0% purchase financing for 36 months on select new 2026 Sierra 2500 Denali and Denali Ultimate models. Plus, huge cash savings on GMC Sierra heavy-duty trucks. And ask about the $1,000 truck trade-in bonus and low-rate lease offers. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Feeling overwhelmed by debt? Concerned about what the next few weeks or months will bring for your finances? My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. You don't have to navigate this alone. Together, we can review your options and build a personalized plan to reduce your payments and get you out of debt so you can breathe again. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
50-50-50. Right now at Papa John's, you order carry out, you get 50% off the pizza, loaded with the toppings you love. You want pepperoni? You got it. You want the works? Done. Always made with our fresh, never frozen dough. Half the price for the pizza you already love. When you come grab it, just use promo code CO50. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. 50% off regular menu price pizzas. Carry out only. Use promo code CO50. Participating locations, restrictions may apply.
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL, helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ul.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ul.ca, your partners in power.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.425 Monday afternoon. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. Hey, let's dare to dream that the rain will suffice. I think it would be nice. Supposed to get a little none tomorrow or a little bit tomorrow. It's going to heat up again Thursday 29, Friday 28, Saturday 24, 25, even Wednesday 27 with a slight chance of showers. So hopefully it's minor. minor. We don't need a lot of rain. At least I don't. I don't know about you, Cons, but I think most of us out there would agree we could taper it back just a bit. Let's talk a little football right now, and maybe even some hockey as we go in the room. Brought to you by Action Electrical. Action Electrical's project divisions handles design, build, switchgear replacements, new construction, and renovations. Learn more at actionelectrical.net. As Farhan Lalji, CFL on TSN analyst, joins us. Farhan, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Love the fact that you brought me in with a little B-52's Rock Lobster. Takes me back a ways. Love the tune.
All right. Well, it's all Connor Halley. He kills it.
There you go, Connor. Well done playing DJ. And also, just so you know, I have a no hockey discussion clause in my life contract for July and August.
Well, there isn't
so we don't talk hockey in July and August. So
all right. Well, that's fair.
CFL only or NFL. You know, you can talk to me about World Cup. You can talk about it, but like we're not talking hockey.
Yeah, no, that's good. Let's start with the CFL and the Elks and the Lions. You can look at it two ways. Both teams were good against the run. But both teams abandoned the run. BC, who ran all over Edmonton, only ran the ball 4 times with Harris, and the Elks only ran it 7. Like, it made no sense to me.
Yeah, like I get it, but you could see what Edmonton was doing defensively once Chase Bryce came into the game, right? So they weren't respecting anything that was going to happen downfield. Their whole goal at that point was take James Butler away and let him try to beat you throwing the football, right? And so I understand why they didn't continuously beat their head up against the wall. And the one thing with James Butler is he's not the type of running back that's just going to get yards himself. And look, really no running back can get yards themselves. Even Justin Rankin is proving that, right, in the 2 games against BC. But, there are some guys that are a bit more brawny and physical and can fight forward for a few additional yards. If I was the Lions, truly, I would have played Xander Horvath a little bit more earlier in that game just to take advantage of his physicality. Butler's a good running back. He just doesn't play that way. He really needs what the line can give him. And, in terms of BC's run defense, they certainly do look like the kryptonite for Justin Rankin, but ultimately Edmonton still found a way to do enough. But not overly surprised that Edmonton forced BC to abandon the run as soon as Chase Bryce came into the game.
Yeah. It did seem odd to me that, you got a rookie guy and your run game was crushing him the previous time. So, and the Elks right now have suddenly become like the ball hawks of the CFL. They create turnover after turnover, tons of interceptions in the last 3 weeks for them. And you know what? Their defense right now, Farhan, like that game should have been a blowout the way the defense was playing. And the Elks offense, their red zone offense is it's so vanilla right now. It's awful.
Yeah, and when you talk about the defenses, I think both are doing a good job. I like how BC has kind of turned things around defensively the last 3 weeks, and Edmonton has been good all season on that side of the ball. And give Ed Hervey and Mark Killam full credit for 2 things. One, they didn't panic with a lot of this roster, particularly in the secondary, right? They made some tweaks up front when they probably didn't like how they spent a year ago, so they had to change things up. They weren't going to run it back, but they got, they dealt with some growing pains in the secondary, and now they're better for it. And think of the number of teams that aren't willing to have that level of patience. And then the second thing is they had patience in J.C. Sherritt. Because I know it about this time last year through week 6 when things weren't going well in Edmonton and everybody was talking about Trey Ford. They were also talking about, potentially throwing the baby out with the bathwater when it came to J.C. Sherritt. And now instead they just gave him more support. And, now you see a coordinator that's slowly coming of age as well. So full marks to those guys. And, for a guy like Mark Killam, who's in his first year as a head coach, he needs an emotional guy. It would be easy to overreact. But he chose not to, and Ed Hervey didn't put him in a position to overreact. So because of that, they're reaping the rewards of that this year.
Well, yeah, Ed Hervey and Chris Morris, really from day one, Chris Morris said, we are done just being a turnstile and bringing in tons of guys. Like, obviously, they had to upgrade their offensive line. There was no debate on that. And they went out and they upgraded their offensive line, and it's worked despite injuries. And, that's kind of where I want to go now, Farhan, to the Elks. Obviously, their entire interior. Now, O'Donnell did practice today, but he was very limited, and I don't expect him to be ready on Thursday. So both your guards and your center and David Beard are out. and it's early on. I know they've only played 6 games, but eventually, you start to see the disintegration in your O-line play simply because, like, you're if we're calling it your 3rd, 4th, and 5th O-lineman, and now it's your 6th, 7th, and 8th, there's just a drop-off over time. There just is. Nobody has 8 O-linemen that are as equal, or 3 guys that are backups that are equal to 3 starters.
Well, and in this league, most teams don't have 5, right? Let alone 8. And in Edmonton's case, when they wound up getting Coulter Woodmansey and determined that they were going to keep O'Donnell inside and not have him play tackle, now you had 4 legitimate starters for 3 spots, all highly paid starters. And, the Corte Beard thing about, who was going to take kind of the one spot, knowing you were going to start Woodmansey, like, everyone thought this isn't sustainable. Well, it was critical. And they're still past that in terms of their depth, right? So it's going to show. Now, the one good thing is that, they've really, really fortified their Canadian content. When you look at what Ed has prioritized positionally in the last 2 free agency periods, in both years, he's prioritized Canadians, right? Along with specific position groups, he's also gone there. And so I think they've got the overall Canadian depth that they could play with an extra American at guard, and it won't completely mess up their ratio and their roster construct. So, and then he knew that he had to pay a bit more for some of these guys because they just didn't have it. But, it's allowing them to buy a little bit of time, and next year they'll be in a position where they will have developed their own Canadians as opposed to just going out and buying free agents. But ultimately, right now, it's allowing them to get through. It doesn't have to be all linemen, right? I mean, we're seeing more and more this and sometimes one, right? And Edmonton was fortunate enough to have 3 in the middle with 4 players, and even Boyko at tackle if you really.
Yeah, we'll try to get Farhan back on a better line there. So Brett Boyko might be eligible to come off the 6th game this week. We'll see, but I won't be surprised if the Elks also just move Joseph Cooper in and start him at guard, and you could have 4 Americans starting at the offensive line with Corte, the lone Canadian, because you have starting fullback, starting center, then you could have 2 starting receivers or even just 1, and then still start with your 2 linebackers and forward, and then you could put Robbie Smith back as a starter on the D line if you needed him. So, they do have lots of depth. Like, at times they had 9 Canadian starters potential easily, and Ed Hervey's talked about that a lot, that gives you the flexibility to alter your roster. And we don't know yet the extent of O'Donnell. I know Beard's on the 6th game. You've got Coulter Woodmansey on the 6th game. He probably will go back on the 6th game again, I would think. We'll see. And then they could pull him out. But they might have to go with 4 Americans on the offensive line, which is, hey, when you've got enough Canadian depth, when you got 2 Canadian starting linebackers right now, and Jabome, who has only gotten better, and he's still a rookie, right? Like, Nick Anderson told me he's hopeful to be ready for the return match against Saskatchewan on the 1st of August. That's what he's hoping for, right? Like, he'll push himself through the paces in practice this week. He's not playing on Thursday, and then maybe he's ready. But in the meantime, you got Jabome, right, who has come in, and I think he's surprised. They were hoping he could play, but he's a rookie, and I think he's probably exceeded expectations early on. Joel DeBlanco has been great, and so those 2 starting linebackers plus Ford and Robbie Smith means you can, if you had to, start 4 Americans on the O-line, which is kind of wild. Farhan, we did see yesterday the first shootout, if we want to call it that, in the CFL in overtime in the 2-point convert. I don't mind it at all. I prefer it rather than a tie. Where do you come out?
And, just a little innovation and some newness, I think is a positive thing, right?
Yeah. Well, sorry, man. Wherever he's at in Vancouver, their cell service isn't working. So that's unfortunate, but we'll try to get Farhan later on in the week when we can get a better connection. But me personally, I don't know if you guys saw it. I kind of like the shootout in the CFL, right? You start at the 2-yard line, and you got to get in. I love it. It was the first time we've seen it. We've had actually quite a few games go to overtime already this year, but that was the first one where we needed them to get to the shootout. And I don't know, Cons, if you were watching any of that Ottawa-Winnipeg game or not, but because we got a text saying, hey, Gregor, which overtime is the best? Well, the NBA is the best because it's still, they don't change anything. They can play forever. But usually they play a 5-minute overtime, and it rarely gets to an extra 5 minutes because the game is just different. Scoring's easier in the NBA than it is in hockey or in basketball. That's why they have way many scores, right? It just is. So I would say that one's probably the best. MLB's has shortened their game a lot by putting the runner on second base. I don't mind it. Like, it's not going to be there in the playoffs, so I don't mind that. It's same in the CFL. The CFL playoffs would never have this, just like the NHL playoffs don't have the shootout. So I actually I like the CFL shootout better than the NHL shootout, me personally, because to me, it's still you have your O-line in, you have your receivers, everybody offensive defense is still involved. So that's why I like it better than the NHL shootout.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of fun. I mean, college football, they do the possession from the 25, then you have to go for 2, and then it just becomes the 2-point conversions from the 3-yard line. Like, I like it basically because of what you said. You're not taking anyone off the field. Your defense has an opportunity to get the stop and win the game for you. There's no disadvantage. You're getting the same amount of opportunities. So I love the way the college football does it. I love the CFL shootout here. I think those are great ways to determine a game. Like, there's not going to be a perfect game. You can't just play regulation and let it run forever. You know, there's going to be times where it's just going to go on too long. And you can't be doing that. So I like what they're trying to do with these things. And Gregor, maybe more importantly over the weekend, I like that a single point from a missed field goal didn't send us to overtime.
Oh, buddy.
I like that too.
I could not believe that people were actually complaining that they don't have the rouge. Like, this was the exact, like Peter Diakowski, like, and I know he has to stay on his side that every move the commissioner made is wrong. But, you know, he claimed it's a rouge and that's a point. Toronto scored. The game should have gone to OT. No, it shouldn't have. That's why they changed the rule, because it's a better way to end the game. Why would you have a missed chip shot be now? If you make the chip shot, you win. If you lose it, you lose. It shouldn't be, well, if I lose it, I get a single point. I loved it. It was awesome to watch. And to be honest, like, when he missed it, it took me a second to realize, oh yeah, it's not a rouge anymore. Like, that was the worst rouge possible. A short chip shot miss and you get rewarded for it. That never was a good rule. I'm sorry, it wasn't. It never was. Now, you can miss a field goal and still get a rouge technically if it comes up short in the like next year when the goalpost or the back of the end zone, or even now, if you want to run it out and you get tackled, it's basically a touchback. It's basically what it is. I don't mind it. I love that rule, Cons. So great of you to pick it up, because to me, couldn't have been better than to talk about it as far as making a better ending. There's no way you should get rewarded for missing a chip shot. Like, I just don't see why you would do it. So it's a great rule change. Absolutely love it. And Peter Diakowski, like, to me, you despise the commissioner so much that you're willing to look like a fool to still say, yeah, but the decision was wrong. No, it's okay to look back and say, you know what? This is why it was the right decision, because that was the example that everybody used and it worked perfectly. Don't reward failure late in the game. I love it. It was great. Quick break. We'll come back. 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
What's it like to score a winning deal at Car West Leduc? Like raising the cup in your hometown on your birthday. Feel it now at Car West Leduc. Experience a vast, uncompromising selection of top-quality used vehicles with no extra fees. Trucks, sedans, vans, SUVs, and more. Backed by family-run service and top dealer ratings on Google. So when the final siren goes, you go home with a deal you'll never forget. Car West Leduc, 6514 Sparrow Drive, Leduc, or at carwestautosales.com.
Think a quality golf cart is out of your budget? Think again. At the Golf Cart People, we have a fantastic selection of fully inspected, pre-owned carts starting at just $4,500. Choose from gas, electric, or lithium-ion power to fit your lifestyle. And the best part, every used cart comes with a 1-year warranty for total peace of mind. Why wait? Get the cart you've always wanted today. Visit the Golf Cart People. Find out more at golfcartpeople.com.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
You've got better things to do than wait for an oil change. Jiffy Lube gets you in and out fast. No appointment necessary. All you have to do is roll into a location near you, and we'll take care of the rest. Every full synthetic oil change at Jiffy Lube is warranty approved and comes with a 20-point visual inspection, making sure you get back on the road safely. Find your neighborhood Jiffy Lube today. Visit jiffylubeservice.ca.
Question: what do you do with your metal?
Lawn ornaments.
Statues.
I made this hat for Kitty, but it's a little heavy. Sorry, Mr. Fluffles.
At Metal Supermarkets, they encourage you to submit your creations to the Metal My Way Gallery today. You can win some great prizes. Go to metalmyway.com, a celebration of metal mastery. Proudly sponsored by Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
You're looking for the best zero-turn mower? Go to the source. Hustler Turf and the Lawnmower Hospital. Hustler Turf started the zero-turn market in 1964, and they're still the kings of quality, durability, and performance. With versatile sizing from 34 to 104 inches, you'll have what you need to make your summer lawn care a breeze. Financing is always available. Check lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at CanTorque.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
For 44, man, are they celebrating in Spain today? World Cup, that will be quite the party for the Spaniards. Congratulations to them. That is, man, like I wonder, like when you win a Stanley Cup, it's a big deal, right? It's a big deal for that city. But when it's a country, and like, and hey, I know Canada's won the gold medal in hockey, right? That's awesome. Right? You win a gold medal in the Olympics, but the team sports are different. It seems to bring a lot more people, right? The games, there's kind of a build up to it and everything like that. I understand it, but, and you get to the World Cup, like it's just kind of a different level, right? Like the Olympics in hockey are the Olympics and they're part of the Olympics, right? The World Cup of soccer was just the World Cup of soccer. It's one sport and it's followed that much. The World Cup of hockey on a global scale is not the same. And, you know, even like when Canada wins at the World Cup, like there's no parade in the country. Maybe we're missing out. Maybe we need to rethink things here. Just a thought. Let's get to 5 questions now. Brought to you by The Brick, where saving you more, they like to specialize in and do. Right now, they just celebrated their 55th birthday bash and is continuing store-wide all week long and get 30% off bedroom packages, 40% off select mattresses and more at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. What was the biggest takeaway for you in the Elks win over BC Friday night?
Go ahead.
I'd say 1, pleasantly surprised the attendance. Looked good on TV. It is still rising, of course, has me excited for a game in a couple of weeks against the Rough Riders. So shout out to those of you that made it out to the game. I'd probably say just the inability, desire not to run. for both teams. And I get what Farhan is saying. You're obviously that's what you're trying to take it away, but I'm a believer. You ground and pound. You try to make it work, and especially in a game that is so close. No team was trailing to the point where they had to pick up those big chunk plays. So I would say just both teams going away from the ground game kind of surprised me. Big takeaway for me.
Well, my biggest takeaway, I guess, too. Number one, defense, good. Like their defense is legit, and so they can create turnovers. They don't give up a lot. But the other takeaway I have is the Elks' penalties are becoming a little bit of an issue. They lead the league, and we're going to ask Coach Killen when he joins us. The Elks lead the league in penalties that result in the first down for the opposition. 12. It's like 2.5 a game. It's too much. I think at times they got to rein in their emotion. That's my other take.
All right. Question number 2. We're hearing from Farhan Lalji that Nathan Rourke will be out weeks, not months. Now, the team did go out and pick up a quarterback, Tyree Adams, who spent some time with the Red Blacks. Just looking at this situation, like, do you think he might be an option, or is Bryce the answer just under the circumstances? You got to roll with him.
Oh, without question. He's your guy now. Give him an opportunity. It's only going to be a few weeks. You bring in another quarterback now. He doesn't know the playbook. How long is it going to take to get up to speed? No, I would stick with him. I actually thought he got better as the game went on. Like, he's going to make some mistakes, as young quarterbacks do, but you have to understand. I thought what Ed Hervey said when they started Jabomi. He said, guess what? He's going to make mistakes. He's a rookie. If you draft someone or you bring in the guy, it's because you believe he can play. So then give him an opportunity to play.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think things will slow down. The statistic, they're 2-12 in the last meetings against the BC Lions. Both wins have came in games when Bryce came in at quarterback due to injury. So interesting stat there for the Elks. That's the key to victory, maybe. But yeah, I'm with you. You obviously have to bring in another arm just in case something else happens. But you have Bryce there for a reason. He's been a backup for a long time. Things will slow down for him in game 2. I'm pretty sure of it. Question number 3 for you. We looked at the Kings today earlier on with Daryl Evans. Is there a reason you can think of for Kings fans to be excited or optimistic about the upcoming season?
Yeah, they're wingers. Like, honestly, their top 3 wingers are easily in the top 3 winger groups in the NHL. Panarin, Kempe, and Fiala. Like, they can skate, they can produce. So if you want production from the wings, now the counter argument is you rarely build a successful team from the wings out. You build from center or defense or even goaltending, right? And wings are kind of like the fourth one. But I will say the reason to be optimistic for LA is that they should be able to get a lot of points and goals from their wingers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to look at Peter Laviolette, your new head coach. The success he's had as a head coach, he's only missed the playoffs 3 times. Obviously not great with the Rangers last season, or sorry, a couple times more than that. But he's had success with his teams, and he's been to Stanley Cup Finals. He's won once. Took the Rangers just a couple years ago to the 3rd round. So I think looking at your head coach, there's a guy I think you can believe in. It's going to be a tough division, no doubt about it. But yeah, I think there's a couple reasons and some optimism for some of their younger players as well. Question number 4, looking back at the World Cup, what was your favorite memory from the tournament?
That's a good question. Favorite memory. Wow. I guess I like goals. So the third place game between France and England, but I'll probably go with Stachio's goal. That would be the most memorable moment for me.
I'll throw Jonathan David's hat trick in there. Like, that was impressive. I know down a man was Qatar, but it was pretty exciting. And then just as a whole, for a tournament like this, to have all the superstars that showed up, like, that was incredible. Mbappe, and then Messi and Harry Kane for a bit of a while there, then Jude Bellingham. All the star players really showed up. So Holland would be another one. That'd be it for me. I think that feels like it's rare where they all play as well as they did. So that was pretty cool. Final question for you today, Gregor. Actor Dean Winters celebrates his birthday. He's been in Oz, Law and Order, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Also famously plays Mayhem in the Allstate commercial. So if you had to pick your favorite spokesperson or character, this could be a cartoon as well, who would be atop your list?
Go ahead.
There are a few that I've liked in my time, but I'm going to go with Ronald McDonald. An absolute legend. You know who he is. Now, he may not have the moments of the Geico Gecko or anything like that, but he's just a staple. So I'm going to go with Ronald McDonald.
Now, does it matter if I know the guy's name or not? Like, does that mean it's not that important? Because when I say going to Winnipeg, I think most people know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Right? The Fountain Tire commercial. Right?
Going to Winnipeg.
Yeah. So that one was pretty good. If I go back all time, I like another very memorable one was the older lady in Where's the Beef. Right? Like she was hilarious. That was such a good campaign. Now that's going back like, God, 40 years. Right? But I still remember that from a teenager. Where's the Beef was so good. Right? That was God. I'm 90% sure it was a Wendy's commercial. But there was I'm just looked it up, Connor. It was Clara Peller was her name. She was a manicurist turned actress. And basically the ad was, you know why the ad came out, Cons?
No,
Okay.
no.
So it was designed basically because they were mocking their competition, saying that they had really big buns with no beef.
Where's the beef?
Where's the beef? And it was hilarious, man. Like that one was, and then what about the other one? What? Well, that was another classic, man. But there wasn't one person. That was more of a tagline. And that was awesome.
What if I said the most interesting man in the world?
Well, Dos Equis.
You think it? Yeah,
that was,
exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty good, right? There's a few of them that were like, if you go back just in an Edmonton one, right? The Lido 426-5050. If you're hungry, call the Lido. Free delivery. I still remember it. And you know what? I never ordered at the Lido, never once. But I still remember the commercial. And like, you know what? Some of the taglines are good, man. They're classic. Like on our show, one of my favorite commercials all time was when Oodle Noodle had their commercial. And, you know, Papa John's a big sponsor of ours. And the guy from Papa John's was laughing when he heard the commercial because part of the Oodle Noodle campaign was that pizzas are making potholes at night in Edmonton because obviously we had so many potholes. It was hilarious. It was very funny. Think outside the box. So those are some memorable ones for me.
Legacy brings it all the time.
Oh God, yeah, buddy. Well, the fact that you got Cam Tate. Remember when Cam Tate sang their jingle?
Yes.
Oh my God. Bobby from Legacy was dying. Thought it was so funny. Like, you know, even their commercials with Hyman and Nuge, right? Pretty funny. So yeah, you got some good ones right here on the show too. I love it. You get a few that like, but it is a different time. No one really comes. Oh, it's probably because of the internet now. No one really has phone numbers. I guess you could text it and use that as your lingo, but you know, making the 426-5050, like that was a classic. Smart, easy, very memorable. So, right? It's just like the song. Somebody out there, does anybody have like a 780-8675-309 phone number? Could you even get it? Like I wonder, does somebody, because I would think somebody in the 780 would be able to get it. No? I don't know how it works. But could you imagine? Now, younger generation be like, what the hell are you talking about? They probably wouldn't get it. But anybody over the age of what? 35 would get it? Cons, you know what I'm talking about?
I only know because you guys have told me.
All right.
And I'm 39.
Okay. So you'd never heard about it before?
No.
Okay.
But it's always it's always brought up if this discussion ever begins. So
yeah.
Declan, Lido, you know? No, Declan doesn't know either.
Lido. There's no chance. Like, honestly, I never even ordered it. I think I used to hear it all the time on Short Show as a kid. That's probably where I remember it from.
You never ordered it. What kind of food was it?
I have no idea, buddy. Honestly, somebody out there, did anybody ever eat at the Lido, or do they just have sick commercials? Right?
Little research tells me it was Chinese food.
Oh, it makes sense. Free delivery.
2-for-1 sale back in the day?
Yeah. Oh, man. Classic. But I never ate there, so I have no idea if it's any good. None. Boys, average food, great commercial. There you go from Nick. Okay, Nick. Oh, I can't discount it because I never ate there. I have no idea. So
I'm seeing a few more that saying it was not the best.
Well, you know what? It must have worked.
Yeah.
Must have worked because they were advertising lots. It had to work. So I like it. 4:57. Let's get to Connor Halley in Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Might have to talk to Mike. Maybe get Mike. Mike's quite the singer. Maybe we'll have to get him into a song for Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Right now, no songs, just great deals. Employee pricing this month. You got 11 days left. Get a great deal. NorthgateGM.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
In case you missed it, former Oilers goaltender Jack Campbell announcing his retirement after 9 NHL season. He spent last season out of the league after playing with the AHL's Grand Rapids Griffins in 2024-2025. Major League Baseball, the Jays in action this evening, hosting the Tampa Bay Rays. First pitch, 5:07. We'll join that game in progress following the Jason Gregor Show on our AM feed. Right now, Guardians Twins scoreless in the first. Later tonight, Yankees host the Pirates, the Dodgers head to Philadelphia, Braves host the Padres, White Sox and Rangers, Cubbies host the Tigers, Athletics taking on the Diamondbacks, and the Mariners host the Reds at 7:40. Riverhawks in action tonight as well, hosting Kamloops down at Remax Field. That one's starting just after 7 o'clock. From the NFL, Green Bay signing defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt to a 3-year contract extension worth $57 million. Meanwhile, in the WNBA tonight, the Temple host the Aces at 6, Liberty taking on the Wings, Valkyries meet the Mystics, and the Lynx in Seattle. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, and we'll be joined by the head coach of the Edmonton Elks, Mark Killam. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Say hello to Alberta's home for reeling and dealing. With Play Alberta, you can spin into the excitement of popular slots like Cash Eruption and Desert Fantasy. Experience Alberta exclusive games and get in on the action of live dealer tables with all new elevated stakes. However you prefer to play, the fun is ready when you are. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted details. In a modern setting, look for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
50-50-50. Right now at Papa John's, you order carry out, you get 50% off the pizza, loaded with the toppings you love. You want pepperoni? You got it. You want the works? Done. Always made with our fresh, never frozen pizza you already love. When you come grab it, just use promo code CO50. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. 50% off regular menu price pizzas. Carry out only. Use promo code CO50. Participating locations, restrictions may apply.
At GS Construction, people grow with the company. 50 years of experience doesn't live in a binder on a shelf. It lives in our people at every level, passed down on every site. Many of us started with a shovel in our hands and built whole careers here. The work is honest. The company's been around since 1974. So if it all sounds good to you and you want to grow with us, GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and topmen. No shovel required. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
We just dropped a massive payload at Nisku. It's time to unload some deals at the World Savings. If you've been waiting to upgrade with offers on our office floor right now, see what you need and take advantage of drops across Carolina, including legendary F-150, or the weekend getaway. The truckload of savings at Nisku Ford CA. Nisku Ford, above expectations.
The Brick
apply. Save on furniture, mattresses, appliances, and electronics. Plus, take 55 months to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses, or 36 months on appliances and electronics on approved credit. Find up to 30% off bedroom packages, up to 40% off select purchases. Don't forget, you can get 275 letters with over $155,000 in prizes to be won. Hurry in. Birthday bash ends July 29th at the Pump. Save you more.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic, your Edmonton's multidisciplinary health clinic at West Edmonton Mall. Physicians, physio, massage, sports psychology, and more. One team, one roof, one plan. Look now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's after 5 o'clock. How you doing? Jason Gregor, Connor Howard, Declan Kruger with you. Gregor Show always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, tonight you got a little ML. CFL back Thursday. So World Cup has come and gone for a year, and we'll see what happens on Thursday. I'm looking forward to this Elks Riders game, and we'll have head coach Mark Killam joining us momentarily. Now, get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialist, and they are hiring. If you are an operator, pipe layer, and more, guess what? Go to gsconstruction.ca, look up careers, and apply today. As we welcome to the show, Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, how you doing?
Awesome, man. How you doing, Jay?
I am. I'm pretty good. Looking forward to Thursday's game. The Elks, another big win, and really on the back of their defense. The Elks defense has been, without question, the most consistent part of their game all season.
Yeah, and gives the offense, like on a macro level, we're 6 games in, and the offense, really hasn't found itself yet. And the defense has, allowed them time. They're 5-1, and how much better can they be offensively, Jay? So, that's what your defense does. Inside a football game, it gives your offense, like in the Ottawa game, it gave them 3 quarters of low-scoring football till they find their way, and they blew it open in the fourth quarter. The other night against BC, nobody blew it open, and that defense they played 4 quarters of football, man. You allow 17 points in a football game, you're going to win almost every time in the CFL, aren't you?
Pretty good chance, yeah. Pretty good chance for it, for sure. They're creating a lot of turnovers. Like, the offense is great up until they get to the red zone. That, to me, is their bigger issue, and they just, and they also have too many 2-and-outs. The only negative that I have or slight concern, and we'll hear from Mark Killam about his defense, is the amount of penalties that they're taking. They've given up a league high 12 first downs via penalties so far this season. It's almost 2.5 a game. So that's an area that I think they'd like to. Well, no, that's not true. It's 2 a game. So that's something that they would want to remedy, I think, down the stretch. Discipline is always key in every sport.
Sure. Fair enough. Fair enough, right? But I'd say to you, they were sure on the field a lot the other day against BC. There's a lot of 2-and-outs. There was, the Elks' first down offense, they just couldn't run the ball, right? They just could not run the ball. So they were 2nd and 12 how many times in that game, man? So you know what? A tired defense can take some penalties. I'm not picking apart that defense. They won that game hands down for the Elks the other night.
Yeah. Well, Edmonton still had more possession in the game. If you actually look at some of the Elks penalties back, they're really aggressive penalties of, it's not, and thankfully it's not, they're rarely jumping offside, because I know the one penalty the coaches say they really despise, and the Elks took a ton of them last year, like procedure or like pre-snap penalties. And I will say that's the one thing where the team has really improved. We're not seeing that nearly as much this season, which is just a focus thing, probably a little bit of a confidence thing because they feel like, man, they had to be on the ball to have any chance. And now they're pretty confident that they can, they can get to the quarterback, with a 4-man front on more often. They don't have to always blitz to get pressure.
Right. Fair enough. So, hey, listen, like I say, whatever they're doing, there's no one's ever perfect, but however that defense is being run, their defensive coordinator, I know that they blitzed like at the end of that game.
Yeah, I loved it.
When Bryce stepped back and he needed some yards, in came that blitz and put him on his rear end. It was just a really good defensive effort. Offense can come and go, but when your defense is good like that every week, you got a chance to win every week in every ballpark, man.
So we look ahead, Spec, and obviously there's the, it was a tragedy on many levels. Obviously, you don't you don't want to drink and drive. Let's just start out right there. It's a bad decision, right? I think we can all agree with that first off. But there's now multiple families that are impacted, by that one decision. Bishma Rajaguri was the 20-year-old who passed away. He's just kind of an innocent guy driving home from work. And, Jaden Dalkey, the captain, played in Leduc for the Wildcats and the Bears, kind of went from a 6th-round pick to being a captain on the team, had won a Grey Cup, had a really good career, done a lot of really good things, and then just made a real bad decision. And, now his both families are just torn up by this. And, I'm kind of interested to see, how a team in Saskatchewan will rebound and react to this on Thursday.
Yeah, this is a lot, right? This is a lot, man. And any team, any office, any group of friends, anything. It's a terrible tragedy when someone you love dies unexpectedly at such a young age. Then the news comes out how the accident went down, and that it paints a whole secondary picture on it. We shouldn't ever forget about the 20-year-old victim who was just, like you say, driving home from work or wherever he was coming home from. That guy did nothing wrong. It's very sad when a young man who seems like he's got so much in his life to live for and has accomplished so much, like to be a Canadian kid, a Leduc boy, and grow up and go through the football ranks and play for a legendary team like the Riders and become a captain. I mean, that's not everybody does that. And it's really, really, really sad to see it end so soon and in this method, Jay, isn't it? It's just a sad way for a hell of a story that's come to such a sudden and sad ending.
Yes. Very true. And it'll definitely be an emotional night, there for all the families involved and friends involved and teams. And so that's something to watch for. Now on the weekend, Spec, I don't know if you happened to catch it last night or not, but we saw the first shootout in the new overtime of the CFL, which, rather than end in a tie, now we have a clear winner or a loser. And like the NHL goes to a shootout in hockey, the CFL goes to a 2-point convert shootout. What did you make of it?
Well, I didn't see it live, but I read a lot about it, and I've fished around and saw some highlights. And it really is a how would I say? It's like a fast motion version of the old overtime, right? Instead of teams having a 30, did they not start at the 35 in the old system?
They still do that, but that's how they start in overtime. But you only get so many possessions, right? And after your possessions, if it's still tied, which it was, now they move it to. It's kind of like you play overtime for 5 minutes in hockey, then you go to a shootout, and that's what they do in the CFL. You play your normal overtime, right? You scrimmage, and if everybody scores, great. If not, then we go to kind of sudden death shootout like they did.
Okay, yeah, it puts a final. There's some finality there. I liked it. I think it's a good idea. Like we could run that thing from the 35 all night. The one thing I never liked about that is you'd have a 20-20 ball game and the final score would be like 43-42. Like all those points somehow counted in overtime. I never really got that. So I'll tell you what, that was good. And I also liked the way the Argos miss that field
Yes.
goal on the last play of the game, and they don't get the point. They don't get rewarded. I'm a guy that I really value all the traditions in CFL football. I'm going to miss the 55 and all those things. But rewarding that kicker for that lousy kick, I just never got it. And I think we're a better league for the fact that Hamilton wins that game. Don't you?
Wholeheartedly, yes. I watched it live. And first of all, I was like, oh my God, Hamilton's going to lose this game. I was kind of like, man, they played so well. What are they doing? And then he misses it. And this is not like a guy who misses very many field goals, but and you could tell his reaction right away. He knew it. And even Spec, when I saw him miss it, it took me a few seconds to realize, oh my God, they just lost the game. Because I was like, oh, now it's going overtime. And then I'm like, no. He lost the game.
No.
And I'm like,
yeah,
that's the exact reason why you changed the rule for that specific play. Now, if people want a 70-yard punt rouge or whatever, and a guy takes a knee, like I really don't think that that's a play we miss. But not handing out a rouge there makes your game better. Full stop. I don't think there's any arguing that it makes your game better to reward a team for missing a chip shot to tie a game. No chance.
Yeah, that's a clear, obvious situation. My kicker's coming out. There's no time left in the clock or whatever there was, seconds. And he needs to put it through the uprights, not wide and through the end zone, right? Like any joker can go kick a ball 45 yards with no meaningful direction and kick it through the end zone. Like you could punt the thing if that's what you're doing. So no, that's exactly the reason. I thought it showed well the other night. And I can't believe that I saw people complaining about that he wasn't rewarded with a point. What reward should you get when you miss a chip shot like that? He blew it, and that's life, man. You don't get rewarded when you blow it.
No, not at all. I very much like that rule change. Spec, the World Cup, kind of interesting. The third place game was all offense, and then the final game was just another smothering, dominating performance by Spain. You have the best offensive team in the tournament. It didn't even get a shot attempt until like 108 minutes into the game. It was wild. Like that was, we had Annie Petrillo on. I like what she said. She goes, if they would have went to kicks and somehow Argentina won and they hadn't had a shot on goal, that'd have been the biggest travesty ever. Spain, when you control the game that well, you deserve to win.
Yeah, they did. And they got ripped off on, got a call back. I didn't like that call one bit. I think it's kind of, it transcends sports, Jay. Defense wins championships. Pitching in the postseason wins championships. The Oilers go to Game 7. It's a 2-1 game. Football's when it gets down to it, defense wins. And here we are, the best offensive team and the best defensive team. And I was totally cheering for Argentina to score 3 times. I wanted to see the offensive team get out there and play the game in an exciting fashion, and I didn't get it. I watched the whole game. I watched Spain. You're right. They just smothered Argentina. And to their credit, you know what? Their game was built to win. And that is clearly the best soccer country in the world right now. And I love the World Cup. I had a lot of fun watching it. I watched a ton of football over the past month and a half. And I'll be honest with you, Jay, if I don't see another guy rolling around clutching his head for a while, I won't miss that part either, my friend.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I look at it overall, and I think it was a success. For Canada, it's obviously going to be harder in 2030, no question. You're not going to be a co-host nation, so you probably have a tougher draw. And you know what? They made big strides in improving the national program the last year. There's no debate about that. But the next steps will be even harder. They got to find a way, I think, to get a finisher. And I love what Andy Petrillo said. Put David as a striker. Who cares that he's good defensively? You need your striker to be all about scoring. Point blank. That's his role, to score goals, not to backtrack and be a good defender. That's added bonus yippee, but don't play him in that situation. So, small little things tactically that they can look at to improve moving forward. But overall, I think it has to be deemed a success. For Canadian soccer, they get what do they finish 14th technically? So they end up getting $15 million in money. So, now that's split between the federation, then it's split between the men and the women. That's the deal they have. So when the women win, they split the money as well. But, overall, I think there are way more positives than negatives for the Canadian team and really for soccer in general in Canada.
Oh yeah, I would say you're right. I mean, we're now a top 20 soccer nation, and I grew up in a Canada that was in the 60s. 65th in the league behind Trinidad and Tobago's half the time, right? So we have a legit team. And remember, we played the tournament without our best guy, Alphonso Davies. I mean, would he play 15 minutes of football the whole time? I mean, basically didn't play the whole tournament. So, if he was healthy, that would help. Now, every year, every 4 years, hopefully you can develop another player or two, another couple of guys that are impactful, not just guys, but impactful players. And I think we've got enough guys going overseas now. We've got enough of a program here. It's better. I started in this business, Jay, and our men's soccer team was a shambles, and they couldn't get guys to come back from Europe even to play for them. And the European teams were like, listen, we're not letting you go play for Canada. That's just a waste of everybody's time. And all of that's changed. There's some respect. There's a team worth playing for. And there's a team you can't just throw your boots out on the field and beat them. Like Canada's, you know what? They're not the best team, but I'll tell you what, they're far, far, far from the worst, and we're getting somewhere. So that part's good.
Yeah, that is very true. Spec, have yourself a good one, and we will chat with you tomorrow.
Sounds good, Jake.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. When we come back, head coach of the Elks, Mark Killam. We're going to talk a little Monday Morning Magic and more.
Experience the home ice advantage with your window coverings. Novo Blinds provides factory direct pricing and fast turnaround on rollers, zebra, blackout, drapery, and motorized blinds. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Don't let rookies scratch your custom wheels. Evolve Wheels and Tires uses premium touchless equipment designed to protect your wheel and tire investment. Trust the enthusiasts at Evolve Wheels and Tires, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride. Evolve your experience.
This summer, cheer on your favorite teams at Sully's Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house with tons of big screens. Plus, Sully's Big League menu has it all. Small bites and big bites, game day food and drink features, something for everyone. From the gridiron to the diamond, this is the place to catch all the action all summer long. Sully's Sports Bar and Lounge. 3 Century Casino locations in the Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better. If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you. To help you heat and cool. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
School is almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road-free. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Think a quality golf cart is out of your budget? Think again. At the Golf Cart People, we have a fantastic selection of fully inspected, pre-owned carts starting at just $4,500. Choose from gas, electric, or lithium-ion power to fit your lifestyle. And the best part, every used cart comes with a 1-year warranty for total peace of mind. Why wait? Get the cart you've always wanted today. Visit the Golf Cart People. Find out more at golfcartpeople.com.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning earnings and profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show. Edmonton Sports Talk. It's 1440.
By PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling.
5:22. Welcome back Monday afternoon. Hope you're having an awesome day. Gregor, Hallie, Declan Kruger, Sports 1440, Sports 1440. That's YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram is always brought to you by Alberta. What's up? A lot of instance all in one place. Play Alberta.ca. And of course, the Lotto Max. $1 million. 20 prizes, 100K. Play Alberta. Hey, as time now to talk a little football with the head coach of the 5-1 Edmonton Elks, Mark Gillum, joins us once again. Coach Gillum, how you doing? Welcome back to the show, man. How are you?
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Mark, were you able to take part in Monday Morning Magic today? How many of your players were able to do it?
I sure was. The entire team was down there. It was great. All the families braved a little bit of rain, came out, really going on the kids' faces, makes it worth it. So that was.
We had a few texts from parents who were able to partake with their kids, and they just talked about what a great day it was for their kids to be on rides and go on. And they also mentioned how, and I'm not sure who was smiling as much, the kids or the players, and he may be the coach. There's always that young child at heart when you get to go to the midway and go on a few rides.
Yeah, I mean, I think it brings joy to everybody. I mean, it's really funny to see a giant defensive line sitting some of those rides as well. So I think that part of it. But it's just a great event all around, and we're proud to do it as an organization.
As a coach, we talked about this last week. You instilled like kind of family day where the parents come and the players, their kids come on the field, and the kids love it, and the players look forward to it. And probably even the wives, because there's a brief, maybe the kids are wheeling around the field. A day like this is just, kind of another part of that part. Well, yeah, football's the main thing, but there's always got to be moments of just kind of enjoyment, but also maybe reflection on, hey, we're pretty lucky to do what we do.
There's no doubt. We talked about that because we had afternoon meetings today after that, and just talking about gratitude and keeping things in perspective and just enjoying the time that we're together as well as a club. I mean, we talk about being a connected football team, and that's in the community, but also in the room, and those kind of events kind of bring that to the forefront.
Mark, 5-1. When you're winning, I guess you can critique wins for fun more, but you also want to celebrate the victories. And your defense won you a game on Friday night. They were outstanding. It's become ball hawks all of a sudden. 3-4 interceptions every game. It's kind of crazy. Let's focus on your defense. And you had some changes there due to injuries. And Tamari Fox got a big sack, but it really started on the second snap of the game on a clean, hard play that knocked Nathan Rourke out of the game. And that really seemed to kind of just set the tone for a whole night for your team.
Yeah. And I mean, remember going into it, their mindset was they wanted to play to their standard. I mean, BC, took it to them 2 weeks earlier, if we're being 100% honest, and we are. And, so they wanted to play to their standard. The defense showed up ready to play. And winning looks different every week. You know what I mean? Yeah. We'd love to be a three-phase football team firing on all cylinders, but it's just not how it works sometimes. And, full credit to the defense. I mean, 4 takeaways or 5 takeaways, whatever it was, with the 4 sacks. And I mean, they were flying around, held them to limited amount of rushing. And, we're going to be a team, like I said in my post game. I mean, I was feeling a certain type of way after that game because it did feel what it felt like to me. But, there's going to be games where the offense lights on fire and it's a shootout and we can't get a stop and the offense keeps scoring. And there's going to be games when special teams scores and sets us up for success. So we know that's going to be down the road if we keep working, and that's always the goal.
I was listening to your post game, and I thought it was a fair assessment. You're like, you know what, maybe for us it's a little sloppy. One area that your team is. And I know that you talked a lot about you didn't want pre-snap penalties, and there hasn't been a ton of those. But your defense has taken a lot of penalties, Mark. Lead the league in 12 penalties that have led directly to first downs. When you go through the film on those, and I know there was definitely the one penalty that I didn't agree with from my vantage point, and I saw your reaction. It was probably the same. But where would you say you're at as far as penalties that result in first downs?
I don't know about specifically getting into that. The ones that drive me more crazy are the special teams penalties. We are the most penalized in the league on special teams, and some of them are just incredibly poor choice penalties and playing outside of the scheme and not playing with techniques that are being taught in the room. Those are the ones that drive me crazy because those are preventable, and we need to cut those out. We'd have 4 more league big plays on special teams if we would have kept our plays on the board. So it's an area that we're hurting our football team because we're hurting field position. And when your offense perfect example, when your offense is in a game where maybe they're not firing on all cylinders or spinning our tires a little bit, we cannot afford to move backwards or take off positive plays on special teams and positive field position to help our offense. And that's an area where I would focus on getting better right now.
So, Mark, how do you then focus on it? Because you talked about this is not the technique we're teaching in camp. Now, you still got some young guys on special teams. So is it just repetition? How do you work through that so on special teams you're not taking big plays off the board for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to teach, we try to teach techniques depending on what position you find yourself in on special teams, what angle into the point of attack, those kind of things. What are some tools that you can use to play penalty free? We're talking about blocking guys in space. So we try to teach that all the time. We try to put guys in different positions so that they understand, if I'm coming down toward my goal line and, that kill shot that we all dreamed of growing up, that's not in the game anymore. You cannot forcibly contact somebody in that kind of blindside action. And we had one of those in the game, and we've been teaching that since day one. So those are the things where we got to make sure that the guys, if they're taking those penalties, find out why they're doing that. Why did they make that choice? And then we've got to make sure that there's no repeat offenders on that. And that's kind of where we're focused at. Okay.
Mark Killam, head coach of the Green and Gold, joins us. They're 5-1, off to a fantastic start. And, Cody Fajardo said it after the game. Hey, the defense won it. We want to make more plays in the red zone. It's great. Your field goal kicker's good, but obviously you probably want to use them less if you can, Mark. Every game's different, but specifically to last game, what did you make of your red zone execution?
Well, I mean, it's been kind of a sore spot for us for a few weeks now. I mean, we're getting a lot of opportunities down there, which is total positive, but we're not scoring touchdowns. So we've got to continue to look at what we're doing, continue to look at how we're executing. All 12 got to execute down there, and they got to execute depending on whatever look they're getting from the defense. So, it's something that we're focused on, even though, like, this week we only have one on-field practice. We have a red zone team period in that practice. So, I mean, it's something that we're focused on, we're trying to get better at, and we're hoping that, similar to, like, the interceptions exploding, once we kind of can break through, maybe the touchdown number will go up as well.
So when you break down, your offensive play calling there, you talked about the special teams and, there's just some penalties that shouldn't be taken. Is it missed assignments? Is it play calling? What do you feel right now are the areas specifically that you want to improve in the red zone that can allow you to be more productive?
Yeah, it's never just one thing. I mean, it's always a combination of different things. And like I said, that's what's the ongoing study is every week is what's working, what's not working, what's working league-wide. Is there something that other teams are doing in different situations? I mean, we've combed through our stuff. We've had a whole mixed bag of what we've done down there, and some of it's worked and some of it hasn't worked. It's just an ongoing part of our football process that we're trying to sort out.
Mark Killam joins us. Mark, Justin Rankin is obviously one of the most dangerous players in the game when you get the ball in his hand. And I know, people say, wow, BC really stopped the run. And I guess when they did run, it's true, he did. But you guys also, didn't run as much as you normally would with him. How do you balance that out to say, because like there's certain games, I think he had like 40 yards in his first 13 carries and then boom, he crushed one. Like his ability to make something out of nothing is maybe the best in the league. So how do you balance, okay, they're kind of stifling us, but man, we want to stick with it because Rankin, we know that if he busts one, suddenly it might be a 40-yarder. How do you kind of balance that through the game plan of each game?
Yeah, I mean, it's different on every game. You got to get plays. So that means you got to be good on first down to run more plays so you can get deeper in your call sheet to call more plays. And I think that, that sounds simplistic, but really, if you don't have very many plays because you're not staying on the field, you're not going to get as deep at it in it, and you're going to call more depending on what's happening with the score. That might dictate it as well. And BC deserves some credit. They're tops in the league against the run by far. So, I mean, it's not like, there's sad sack group over there. They were getting after it up front. They got some guys that can really collapse the pocket, collapse the run lanes down. And so, as a play caller too, you're not going to bang your head against the wall if it's not working, but there's definitely a fine balance to making sure your playmakers get enough touches, but also trying to make sure you get enough plays so you can get to those, so get deeper in your call sheet.
Mark, now you move on. It's another short week, and you've been through this a few times this year. So I guess the good news is you're comfortable with it. Obviously, Saskatchewan, due to what happened, one of their players passing away in a car accident, that this will be an emotional game. Do you have any idea kind of, how that might be different and how you can prepare your team for when an opposing team will either be overly emotional or highly motivated, depending on how they react to it?
I think you got to keep focus on us. I mean, you have to know what it's going to, you can kind of prepare for some heavy emotional undertones going into it. I was part of the red team when Mylan Hicks was killed. And so I've gone through a similar situation. He was on our team at the time, different than being the opposing team, I guess. But, it's our focus on how we're preparing. And I mean, that's every single week. It was going to be an emotional game, as far as, two big division rivals going at it anyways. It's a pretty important back-to-back. Obviously with the tragedy, that adds another layer to it. But, we've got to compartmentalize and focus on what we can control, and that's our preparation leading into it.
And I know he was limited in practice today, but what's your expectation? You think O'Donnell can play on Thursday, or he might have to miss a week?
We're going to have to see. I mean, it was just a walkthrough today, so there's no real indication on any injuries as far as that goes. So we're going to have to see how he gets through tomorrow.
Okay. And if he's unable to go, Mark, you guys have a lot of depth. Could you foresee yourself going with 4 Americans and then Corte as a starting center, just because of your flexibility on defense?
We could. We do have some options. We talked about a few of them. We'll have to see how it shakes out.
All right. Well, Mark, thanks so much for this. Best of luck. A big game on Thursday in Saskatchewan, and then the return matchup the following Saturday. Should be a great few weeks of football. As always, appreciate your time.
Okay, thanks for having me.
There you go. That's Mark Killam, head coach of the Green and Gold. 5-1. They're off to a great start. Fantastic start. Their defense, and I love what he said there about we're hoping our red zone play kind of comes like the interception, because it was only a few weeks ago where their secondary didn't have one pick. Now, they had linebackers and even D linemen with interceptions, but their secondary guys, where the majority of your picks come from, didn't have any. And suddenly, what do they got now? 8 in the well, no, I guess one was a D lineman. 7 from the secondary in the last 2 games. It's massive. Now, I don't think you're suddenly going to get 7 red zone touchdowns, but the Elks have to figure out the red zone play, because when you go up again now, what if Nathan Rourke's in that game? Now, and I always wonder about the psyche of that. Like, is there more urgency if you know he's in the game or not? I'll never know. Like, that's why the what if scenario is just a what if. It's not based on anything factual. It's just guessing. But I look at Edmonton and moving forward, now you've got Saskatchewan, Montreal. Those are 3 good, those teams right with you when it comes to records in the CFL. So I don't know if you can get away and win those games if your offense has too many drives stalled. You're not going to score every time in the red zone. Nobody does. But the Elks right now, just too many they got the worst touchdown percentage in the league from the red zone. They've got 10, or is it? I think it's 11 now on 24 chances. It's not good enough. So they were 10 of 21 coming in. Then they went 1 for 3. So just simply not good enough. but they're winning games. So that's why it's something that you can talk about, but it's not like a frustration, but it's a positive that you're like, we're winning games, and here's an area of our game that we clearly can improve. And if you improve that, and the Elks could be dangerous, because then you could get in some blowouts and maybe you rest guys and all that sort of thing. Kind of as it goes down the season, it benefits you because they're in a situation where they're playing 10 weeks in a row. They've talked about it. They know it all. Like, they have a whole plan for the season. They knew this is not a surprise. But if you could get some games that were a blowout maybe, and not until, like, I know the Ottawa game ended up as a blowout, but it was a 2-point game going into the fourth quarter. I'm talking if they could ever get to a point, and it's probably going to be hard against Saskatchewan and Montreal, where maybe you could rest the starter down the stretch. Maybe you get your backup quarterback just a few reps just in case. You know, those are all benefits of executing better in the red zone. Take a quick break. We'll come back. We got some stats of the day for you to end the show that you don't want to miss on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt-equipped, top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991. Or visit silentrides.ca.
Are you a skilled laborer? All Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience? All Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All Star Construction on Indeed.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
It's finally time to escape your four walls and see where your four wheels can take you. Sherwood Honda helps you head out on the road the way you want to, with the right vehicle, including freedom-seeking SUVs that give you the versatility to drive where, when, and how you want to. It sure would do some good to get out and stretch your horizons, and sure would be easier with Sherwood Honda.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Monday at OTR means $3 hot dogs after 5. Drink specials all day and bingo tunes starting at 8. Jasper Ave 118th or online at ontherocksYEG.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Monday, man. I can't believe the show's almost over. Thanks for listening. Thanks if you're just joining us. You make your way home. Hopefully, no traffic snarls for you. We're at smooth sailing. Get home, relax. Maybe you're going to watch the Jays. Can they score a run? That's the, geez. Right now, opposing pitchers are like Spain when it comes to the Jays offense. They can't penetrate. They can't get anything done. It is the Gregor Show, is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. And hey, you know what? You could get into it. We actually had a little cease and desist today for Cease thinking, you know what? He's probably going to have to keep it under 2 earned runs if the Jays want to win. So we'll see how that plays out as the Jays are trailing 1-0 in the third inning. No surprise. Not a lot of offense going on for the Jays. Now, let's get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction, a fantastic local company founded in 2009, and they are hiring. Lots of business for them. Gas piping technicians, construction laborers, hydrovac operators, equipment operator, and more. Check out Indeed.com. They got 6 different jobs up for opening right now. So check it out at Indeed.com/all-star construction. So some stats of the day today. Now, Justin Rankin, because there's still the chance that he could get the 1,000 club. And even with a very ineffective rushing attack, he's still well on his way to 1,000 yards rushing. He's on pace for 1,566, right? He's already got over 500 rushing yards. Receiving yards, had a decent game again. Caught all 6 balls that were passed his way. So he's on pace for 1,029. So a few big games rushing the ball would definitely would help him, but receiving the ball. But either way, he's also still on pace at 2,595 for the most yards from scrimmage in a season. The record is 24 and 14 by Mike Pringle, which he did twice. The exact same yards total on yards from scrimmage. I still get, that's to me one of the most freakish records ever. Like 1 extra yard rushing, 1 extra yard passing over the whole year. No, receiving, excuse me, not rushing. The Elks have 21 turnovers thus far, which leads the CFL. But as mentioned earlier in the show, that's not close to all-time. Back in the 80s and 90s, the franchise record for takeaways was 87, set back in 1995. They had 84 in 1989. Those are the second and third most ever in CFL history. So tough to do. How about Kenny Logan Jr.? Shout out to him, man. He was all over the place. He had 5 defensive stops, which are tackles that result in unsuccessful plays for the offense based on down and distance. He had a total of 7 tackles, a sack, and an interception. One of the league's most complete defensive performances of the week if you follow PFF. So huge game for Kenny Logan Jr. To MLB, Spain. How about defensive midfielder Roddy won the Golden Ball as the tournament's best player. He's the 11th man ever to win the World Cup, Champions League, and the Balloon d'Or. 29-year-old goalkeeper Simone was the Golden Glove, and a 19-year-old Paul Kubarsi was named the best young player. Not even Yamal, who's really good too. So 2 19-year-old prodigies. Geez, Spain's future looks pretty good as they've won 38 consecutive games without a loss in penalties, I should say. So, because if they lost in penalties, it doesn't count. But either way, they've been on a pretty good run here. They only allowed 1 goal in 8 games to Belgium in the entire tournament. On the other side, Kylian Mbappe had a brace, pair of goals in their final game, gave him a tournament high 10 goals. He's the first man ever to win multiple World Cup golden boots. His 22 career World Cup goals are the most ever, one ahead of Lionel Messi. So that's a pretty good start for Mbappe, who's probably got at least 2 more World Cups. Could he win a golden boot for a 3rd time? That would be crazy. We'll see. Also, let's go to the Open Championship. Did you see it? Mr. Fox. What about his comeback? After round 1, he was tied for 85th. On Friday, he was tied for 52nd. Those are the lowest 18 and 36 hole positions in major history for a golfer to go on and win the tournament. And then he came back and won it. You saw it. And the other thing, shout out to Fox for anybody who doesn't like slow play. This guy's unreal. Like, he gets up, no screwing around. Let's go. Let's putt. Let's hit. Away we roll. It's awesome. So that's the 4 majors in 100 days for the PGA. Rory won his 2nd straight Masters. But since he won, some of the most unlikely winners you've seen on tour. Wyndham Clark, pre-tournament odds, 50-1. Aaron Ray, pre-tournament PGA Championships odds, 150-1. And then Fox came in as a massive long shot, 225-1 before winning. It's crazy. A guy who didn't win but was pretty good. How about Cam Young? His 5th top 5 of the year. He came from 7 shots back on Sunday, and at one point actually had the clubhouse lead before Fox's final birdie shut the door. Also, Sam Burns, he's had a really good 100 days on the majors. He finished 2nd at the U.S. Open. He was 7th at the Masters and 3rd at the Open Championship. Also was 26th at the PGA Championship. So pretty good run for him. He didn't win, but fared very well in most of those tournaments. On the weekend, on Saturday, for all of you runners, Josh Kerr from Scotland ran the fastest mile ever at the Diamond League meet in London. 3 minutes, 42 seconds, and 66/100ths of a second. That breaks the record set back in 1999 by Hicham El Juraj, who had 3:43.13. So Kerr ran this. He ran the mile, which is essentially 1,609 meters. So it's 16 100-meter dashes. He ran it on an average of 13.9 seconds per 100 meters. Do you know how many people could run 100 meter in 14 seconds? I would guess maybe 10% of the population. Honestly, maybe. That might even be high. And that's just one. He did 16 in a row at 13.9 seconds. It's crazy. Like, these long distance runners are virtually sprinting for a mile. Then you get to the marathon guys. They're like 15 seconds, which is stupid to do it in 2 hours. Crazy. But either way, for Josh Kerr, that's pretty impressive. The Bo Sox won their 13th straight game on Sunday. That's the second longest in franchise history. They're just 2 wins shy of their longest ever, which was set way back in 1946. The same year, some guy named Ted Williams won his first of 2 MVPs. So Boston, when their streak started, they had a 13.4% chance of making the playoffs. Now they hold a wild card spot, 6 games back in the division, and their playoff odds are up to 59.3%. So if you're a Jays fan who's holding out hope, you're like, yeah, all they got to do is get on a 13-game winning streak. So dare to dream. But the Boston Red Sox are right now the hottest team in baseball. And really, it's not even close. They are tied at 1 with Baltimore through 3 innings. Also, Shohei Ohtani will not be pitching. He's got inflammation in his knee. He's going to bat, but will not be pitching anytime soon, as the Dodgers just continue to make moves. They also just got flamethrower Halverson from the Rockies in exchange for some minor leaguers, Lyndon Vidoric, who's their 25th prospect prior to the trade, and righty Nick Frasso. But now, Halverson's been banged up. He's up and down this year, but when he's in, this guy can throw heat. So the rich get richer, shall they say, in MLB. Cons, do you have an MLB team that you watch?
Yeah. Typically, the Blue Jays would be the team for me.
Not a Padres fan?
United have a soft spot for San Diego, of course, but tough to root for the Padres. You don't get too much coverage up here. Always liked Hoffman with the Hell's Bells entrance as a closer. I think that was unbelievable. And Tony Gwynn was sick, of course, but no, I can't claim too much to it. Occasionally I'll throw the hat on because I think it looks good, but no, more so just Jays.
All right. This one from Redbag. Hey, Gregor, quick reminder: the Elks are winning the Cup this year. They have all the tools, no matter what. They find ways to win. I haven't been this confident in them in over 20 years. From Redbag. Well, that's a pretty big jump. They're 1/3 of the way through the season. Things look good. Now, the one thing right now that is probably my biggest concern is just the amount of injuries they have. And now the good news is some of those guys are going to be coming back soon. So that's good news. I think Nick Anderson is close, probably by the home game against Saskatchewan. So one more game and he'll sit out maybe. They could definitely use Brett Boyko if and he did limited again today, but they need some bodies, man. They need some bodies. Like they got a lot of guys injured. So you're gonna need him. Now the problem is their tackles are healthy. And Boyko probably could play guard if you need to, but we'll see what they do. I won't be surprised, fellas, to see the Elks run out a 4-man American offensive line. What do you think? I won't be surprised if we see Cooper in there if O'Donnell can't go.
Why not? Right? Like if you have that versatility with your Canadians, then you can make it work, and that's going to do the best to keep your guys upright. I'm all on board for it. I've got no issue with that. Then that's like, I mean, I've done it a few times. I'm just praising just the roster construction that Ed Hervey and company have done building up this team, and to have that versatility in your roster to be able to do this if need be, especially at one point, like the 3 starting Canadians you had on that offensive line, like it's unbelievable. And if that's what's going to work best for you and that's going to give you the best guys out there, then by all means, I'm on board for it.
Yeah. So we'll follow that along. We'll find out more from the Riders. Obviously, be an emotional week in Saskatchewan for that, and we'll see kind of where things go from here. And they have set up a GoFundMe for Bahishma Rajagar, but the good news is they've already reached their goal, so that's fantastic. The Saskatchewan community has really stepped up for him and his family in a very difficult time. On behalf of Connor Halley and Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves a wonderful Monday. We will join you tomorrow. Lots more sports talk to get to, and always a fun little summer discussion here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Go Auto. You can find your next vehicle at GoAuto.ca, where they have over 17,000 to choose from. 31 vehicle brands across 73 locations. Find yours today, GoAuto.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
In case you missed it, former Oilers goaltender Jack Campbell has announced his retirement from the NHL after 9 seasons. Campbell spent the last season out of the league after playing the previous year with the Grand Rapids Griffins in the AHL. Major League Baseball, the Jays currently are in action, trailing the Rays 2-0 in the top of the 4th. We'll join that game in progress on our AM feed following the upcoming commercial break. Elsewhere, Yankees lead the Pirates 4-3. Dodgers trail the Phillies 4-0. The Guardians beating up on the Twins 8-2 in the bottom of the 4th. Red Sox Orioles tied at 1. Later tonight, White Sox take on the Rangers. The Astros host the Marlins. Nationals head to Denver. Mariners taking on the Reds, and the Cards in Anaheim. In the city tonight, Riverhawks taking on Kamloops down at Remax Field. First pitch at 7 from the NFL. Green Bay Packers locking up defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt to a 3-year contract for $57 million. The team originally selected him in the 2022 draft, 28th overall. And in the WNBA tonight, you've got the Tempo and Aces from Toronto at 6. Also, Liberty up against the Wings. The Valkyries host the Mystics, and the Lynx in Seattle. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, if you are streaming, it's Fox Sports Radio. If you're listening on the AM dial, Blue Jays Baseball. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6